All right, what's going on, guys? Sithis here, back at it with another live stream. Today we are going to be playing World of Warcraft. We are going to be continuing what I've been up to. But I kind of made a mistake, which was going to this area, putting my Hearthstone here, and then forgetting about it. Not a very good idea. I also need to clean out what I have in my inventory. Ah, I see. Okay. Also, I created a room in the Religion and Politics Discord called Talk to an ANCAP. So hopefully it'll work out. Let's see if I need any training while I'm here.
I want to discuss NCAP stuff. I'm eating RN.
Well, you can talk to me about whatever you want. You could join the Discord that I'm in if you want. You know, it's up to you.
We will have justice.
Where is the Discord?
Where are you watching me at? YouTube? Where are you watching me? I got you in 1 sec. I'll send you the Discord. And I'll put it in the chat.
YouTube.
All right.
Link.
I posted the link. I have a cold, so you're going to be hearing me sniffle.
Baladash, Malanore.
All right. Oh, I forgot.
ITLL, take a minute, haven't been on Discord in a while.
Yeah, no problem. All right, nice.
KingSithis, let's promote you. Come in NEZHNA. COM.
My goodness. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys.
What's the Chanel name? The link doesn't work for me.
Oh, it's talk to an ad cap. It should be all the way at the bottom. Oh, I gotta go this way.
What server?
Politics and religion. Maybe I could put this link in there. Maybe try this link.
Link.
Glad I could help.
Yeah,
Got it.
I don't think this is the right one. The right Zeppelin. I need to go to the other one.
Hurry back!
Sorry, I keep sniffling my nose. I have a bit of a cold. Oh, hey, the fly. How are you?
Yo, alright.
Just waiting for some state lovers to join in.
Over.
I'm also playing World of Warcraft.
Have fun.
Hell yeah.
I gotta wash the dishes. Are you
So,
streaming?
yes. So, I was doing DoorDash today, and
Mhm.
I was delivering beer, and so basically, what ended up happening was I went to bring them their alcohol to their house. I opened the door, and the guy's like questioning me, "Hey, like, you been doing this for a bit?" And then I was like, "Yeah, I've been doing it all night, And then he's like,
Mhm.
I hand him the beer, I scan his ID, and then he's like, he reaches out, and I'm thinking he's like, he wants to shake my hand. And I'm like, all right, so I shake his hand, and he grabs my hand, and he kind of like pulls my hand, and I'm like, huh? And I was like, oh, and he's like, come on in, man. Why don't you come on in? Come hang out. And then his wife is like, no, 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 leave him, leave him, leave him. And the guy's like pulling my arm. So I had to like push my arm back and be like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm all right, man. And then I left.
Mhm. Were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared. But I was like a little bit like, what the fuck? I was weirded out a little bit, not gonna lie. Yeah, that's basically what happened to me today. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I have a cold. And it's been fucking with me all day. Yeah, I don't really have much else. Life is doing pretty alright.
Good. That's good.
Looks like the
I
ice
feel like I
is...
said that really high pitch. I had to clear my throat.
Looks like the ice is frozen some of the pipes in my place, so I can't really push water out yet. All right. Now that I got my bags cleaned up, I should probably get something to drink for my character. Oh, I'll be right back. Oof. Been sneezing a little bit. I think it's the allergies got me. Kind of fucking with my my sinuses. Shit, bro. What am I gonna do? What's going on? Wolf Zai.
Z. What up?
What's up?
The house. You watch the Super Bowl?
No.
Neither did I.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you an ANCAP?
We've talked before. You know I'm not. Hey,
Oh.
is slavery? Would slavery be consistent in ANCAP, like anarcho-capitalism?
No.
What about like private prisons?
Only if you violate another person's rights can another person force you to do something against your will.
Right. If like they steal your stuff or whatever, and like you have to pay back some kind of restitution or something like that, that'd be consistent. Okay, yeah, yeah, that could work.
I mean, you know, you could maybe like if the person doesn't have the money, then you could maybe garnish their wages. Generally, like prisons and caps, like generally say like, I hear this from a lot of guys that the idea of throwing somebody in prison for something like theft or something very small is generally less likely. It would most likely be some sort of restitution based. Like you would have to pay back what you stole generally. Prisons would generally be left for people who are really like out of control. Like they're gonna stab somebody, like, or they've really committed some serious heinous crimes. You know.
Well, I mean, well, sure. I mean, I get like, you probably save that for like the more violent people. Like, if we're talking about like maybe prostitutes or fucking like potheads or whatever, that's no one's gonna give a shit about that. But like,
well, I think that should be illegal.
Maybe thieves or vandals at the very least. They well, yeah, obviously. I mean, like that. There's really no problem with those things. But like the things I said. Just after that, the latter, like theft or
stabbing, or like stealing, yeah.
That's probably gonna get you some time in there. I mean, and then if that's the case in a private prison, I mean, like they're subject to the individual's like rules or whatever. So I mean, if they were to like sell their labor to some corporate entity or something like that, I mean that'd be perfectly consistent.
You could say like work in a camp somewhere and be like, I'll work here to work off my wages, my restitution.
Oh yes, ANCAP, the ideology where all crimes are paid by slave labor.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to be enslaved, don't violate anyone's rights.
Well, minorities often are discriminated against. In ANCAPistan, there would probably be minorities that would just be enslaved under false pretenses.
That would be an aggression.
Great argument.
Would it? Maybe, but it would still happen. Why do you think we have civil rights acts, KingSithis?
I don't believe in the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, this is the issue. If you have a bunch of racist libertarians that make a society, minorities are going to pay the price.
Come on, sis.
I don't think you have a right.
Don't return to fascist, bro.
I don't think you have a right to force your...
Return to fascist.
I don't think you have a right...
By the way.
Are you sick, Sithis? Why do you keep cutting out?
Yeah, I am kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of have a cold.
I don't think that you know what an ANCAP is necessarily. I don't understand why you don't think that civil rights could still exist in our country.
I'll give you a great example.
Well, in the sense that you don't have a right to...
Do you guys think that children have a right to dignity? Murray Rothbard says you could lock a baby in your closet and not feed it, and then nobody would be allowed to feed the baby if it's locked in your closet. That's pretty messed up.
Where did he say that? Source.
All right, I'm not trying to do this, Linda. Like, when you want to have a good faith discussion about like normal things, not rehash arguments that you already know the answer to, just let me know.
It's hilarious.
Low effort to come into the room, act like you know what anarcho-capitalism is, and not even try to form an argument against it. Instead, just bash it.
And he knows the arguments against this. Like,
that's why
he's not I don't think he's that dumb. He's just doing this to try to virtue signal.
Wait, who?
Ugh, it's you, Ratify. Respectfully, if you annoy me, I'm gonna mute you too. But you can stick around. I'm really sick today, guys. I'm not in a good mood. My nose is completely plugged.
Oh, I fucking hate that shit. Yeah. You better drink yourself some tea and fucking chill the fuck out, bro.
Nah, bro. I worked a lot this week, and I kind of just want to play World of Warcraft right now and just hang out.
Aren't you self-employed?
What do you mean?
Self-employed?
Partly, I guess you could say.
Because
I work for DoorDash, technically.
Oh,
but I have another job too.
Oh, it's the delivery app, right?
Yeah, the DoorDash. It's like a food delivery service.
Do you like code their app or something?
No, I deliver the food.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not so bad. I like doing it. Gets me out the house. I get to meet people.
Like the people at the restaurant?
Yeah. In general. You get used to the people around you, and you know, they get to know who you are and stuff. You get to meet people around, you know.
Like the only way in modern day to get to know your neighbors.
I mean, there's like these dating apps and
Jenny
shit.
down the
But
street has an addiction to Wendy.
are you an ANCAP hung like tech tax? Hung like Tic Tacs?
I think from your answers, when I joined the room from that other guy, I think I'm a better ANCAP than you.
Me?
Yeah.
What would make you say that?
I know that what he was saying. I know what he was saying was like low effort, just trying to ruffle feathers or something to that extent. But he had something about like, do you know why the Civil Rights Act exists? Like basically positing that can't exist in anarcho-capitalism, or like there's some sort of
What do you mean Civil Rights Act?
racism.
It depends on what you mean Civil Rights Act. I mean, do you have the right to force somebody to service another person
man.
under the libertarian ethic? The answer is no.
Okay, but when we're talking about a Civil Rights Act, like, hey, you can't discriminate based on people's color. We can imagine a world in which anarcho-capitalism adopts this idea. If my homeowners association has this in their creed, we're not going to discriminate based on the color of your skin. There's nothing contradictory about having a Civil Rights Act on a local level. Well, maybe it's
Well,
a
assuming
good
there's
idea.
no
Maybe it's not
initiating, assuming that there's no initiation of force, then yeah, I
Right.
don't care. Yeah, my
Right.
issue
I
is
don't
that
think
it's the
it's
state.
And I know that he was trolling. Yeah, go on.
The issue is that it's the state. No, here's the difference between you asking the question and him. You're not like here trying to virtue signal and try to make me seem like a bad person or yada yada yada. Like sometimes I just don't have patience for people who try to make me seem like a bad person or ask questions for the purpose of getting a rise out of me, I don't have time for that. But no, what you're saying is 100% correct. If you have an HOA and you guys all agree to respect property right, to respect racism, not races, and not discriminate.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I was trying to say, but
It's totally kosher.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, but the issue is the
I guess
Civil Rights Act isn't the idea behind it. The issue is the state enforcement.
I guess maybe I'm less jaded because when that guy came into the room, I wanted to be like, you're an idiot. You don't think that can exist? Here's how it can exist. And here's how it might not exist. But wouldn't you prefer to know the racist in your backyard rather than forcing them into hiding? That's kind of where my head was going with that argument, rather than, I guess, he was trolling, so it doesn't, but that's where my head goes. It's like, explain how this can exist and how it can't exist and how it might not exist. And explain how, hey, we can have a world in which, there's a 420 friendly apartment complex and one that's not 420 friendly across the street. Well, guess what? When you sign that lease agreement, you agree not to smoke weed. And if you do, they'll kick you out without 911.
Yeah.
Private security, et cetera, et cetera.
They can evict you.
Rules. We just want no rulers.
Wait, so KingSithis, how?
I
Oh,
agree
what
with
were you
that, but
expecting?
sorry, I just want to say this one thing if you don't mind, Ratify. I just want to say that basically, generally, what people say do you support the Civil Rights Act? They generally mean like the law associated with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I answered it that way. You know, but yeah, go ahead, ratify.
How old were you when you realized ANCAP was true?
Excuse me. I'm 28 now, so I think I was 27.
Oh, so you're a new ANCAP.
Yeah.
What convinced you?
Well, I was already a libertarian. I just didn't really know anything about ANCAP or the ideology, to be honest. So, but then I stumbled upon a guy's YouTube channel. His name is Liquid Zulu, and I really liked his YouTube videos. And yeah, from his videos, I discovered other YouTubers who are ANCAPs, and then other, you know, Murray Rothbard, Hoppa, Stefan Kinsella, you know, all the cool guys. And, you know, I just kind of just went down the rabbit hole. Huh?
I'm Facebook friends with Stefan.
Yeah, I like Stefan Kinsella. I like all his books. My personal favorite is his newest book, which is The Legal Foundations of a Free Society. I think it's a masterpiece. But really, it's just a compilation of his older works.
Have you read Against Intellectual Property Rights?
Yes, I have. It's a fantastic book. In fact, I made a whole YouTube video called Why We Should Abolish Intellectual Property, and I actually took some clips from his debate with another guy on intellectual property rights from the Soho Forum debate. I'm a big fan of him. Love him. I try to listen to as much as I can of him because he's just really smart. And Murray Rothbard.
I got to see Dave Smith debate during COVID. So.
I met Dave Smith and took a picture with him, but I'm not a fan of Dave Smith anymore because of... Huh?
Why not?
Because he supports closed borders. He's a big bordertarian.
Okay, let me defend him for a second. So, obviously, we don't live in anarcho-capistan right now. We live in this paradigm in which we live.
Mm-hmm.
I think the standard argument from an ANCAP is generally like, I'm going to be a little rusty here, but it's something to the effect of like, I'm open borders if there's no welfare state, closed borders if there is a welfare state. Since there is a welfare state, closed borders is ideal. But in what ought to be is different than what is. What ought to be is there ought to be open borders. But since there is we don't respect private property, etc., 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 closed borders is better as it sits right now.
Wait,
or
are you
we could just abolish welfare.
How long have you been in ANCAP for, home?
When did Ron Paul run his first campaign?
I don't know.
You're like an OG?
Yeah, I've been in it.
I heard fluid intelligence peaks at age 18. Is that true?
Is there like a gotcha at the end of all this, or?
No, I was gonna call him old, but then I was like, wait, I actually don't know how old he is. I don't know how old they.
I think I was like 18, and so I'd probably been a ANCAP or Marion from
Your mic's actually kind of bad. Wait, Sithis, why is ANCAP true? Tell me.
Why is it true?
Yeah.
What do you mean by true? Like, why do I agree with it?
Why do you endorse it?
Like, does it work? Does it like?
Why do you endorse
because
it?
I support the non-aggression principle, and it's most consistent with that principle. And I'm support open borders because, fundamentally, the state is not the just possessor of the land. So for them to forestall anyone from entering that land would make them, well, again, would be forestalling. And the whole idea that like we need to allow the state to violate property rights more by restricting and forestalling people from entering land that doesn't belong to the state because there's a welfare state, I think is more of an argument against abolishing the welfare state than it is being against open borders.
Wait, so all of
personally.
this, you only. So we go back 1 year, you didn't believe all this. We go forward 1 year, you do believe all this.
Pretty much.
He was a libertarian before, so it's
Did
not
you
that
believe
far
in
off.
the NAP a year ago or no?
I believed it inconsistently. I said I believed in the non-aggression principle, but I didn't hold it consistently, which is pretty much no.
Oh, basically, you were always a NAP fan, but once you truly grasped the nature of the NAP, that's when you ascended to ANCAP.
Yes, I ascended.
I see.
I was born again, as you could say.
Born again ANCAP, yeah.
I was shown the light.
And I think most in
Was it by a
at least
YouTube
I would
video,
argue-
or do you lose a debate? Like, how are you shown the light?
I stumbled upon libertarian a YouTuber named Liquid Zulu, and his videos introduced me to anarcho-capitalism. I didn't know any. I didn't think it was real before.
I see. It was like a myth, but then you realized it was real. I see. It had substance to it.
Well,
It
I
was
didn't think
corporeal.
anyone. I didn't know anyone actually believed in it, and I didn't understand the full ideology. I didn't understand it. I didn't know anything about it. When I was introduced to it, I changed my mind.
Were you always libertarian?
So,
or was that also new?
No, I was libertarian since I was, I don't know, so like 21. Before that, I was like a Trump supporter for like a year during like 2016-ish, you know. But then after his first year or so, like I switched to libertarian because I didn't really I knew I wasn't a left winger. You know, I knew I wasn't progressive, but I wasn't a full-on Republican. You know, I didn't really agree with a lot of their ideology neither. Like,
How did you know you weren't on the left?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I always had a free market. I've always supported free markets and property rights. I just never cared about the social issues that a lot of Republicans cared about. I did not care about, like marijuana, transgender people, you know, you name it, the social issues that they care about and want to ban or restrict people from doing. I never saw eye to eye with them on that. So, yeah.
But through your idea of like, because I don't know, don't you think it's interesting that you've never like engaged with or like looked into
socialism?
It's a losing
why
lion.
people are on
It's
the
a
left?
losing lion.
I mean,
Wait, what's a
I
losing
understand the appeal. I just think it's a fairy tale. I think that free markets and capitalism is more grounded in reality. Austrian economics is more grounded in reality, and whereas a lot of these other, like the progressive ideas in terms of like allowing people to live the way they want and live and let live, and
Sure.
I respect
say
that.
whatever you want about like, I guess, leftist politics. You disagree with them, you agree with them, whatever. We can point to empirical examples that embody the principles we support, and then there's like nothing on the ANCAP side, right?
Again, I don't look to him. What do you mean by it? What do you mean?
Because you said it's more grounded in reality. That's what you said. You said like ANCAP is more grounded in reality. I think it is quite legitimately the least grounded in reality idea. Like if you said the reason I'm a fascist is because it's like grounded in reality, I'll grant you that fascism has real examples throughout human history, has like real principles that are embodied in political and economic organization. But if you say you're an ANCAP because it's more grounded in reality, there's nothing like that that's ever existed.
I don't think you're understanding what I mean when I said that.
I just mean principally, like the idea that people would behave XYZ, that's the real fantasy, right? Like that
people would behave XYZ.
They all do the NAP. Yeah, non-aggression principle.
I mean, most people follow the NAP through their day to day. The issue is, there's a small percentage of people within society who have a monopoly.
3 people today. I don't know what you mean. We follow the NAP every day, but
wow.
Like
I didn't. When I said we, I didn't mean me and you necessarily.
Okay,
but
yeah, fair enough. Because I'm just shooting. I shoot people every day. I don't know about you.
Well, I wasn't even. Why was it? You didn't even let me finish what I was saying. What I was saying is that there's just a small percentage of people within society who have sort of institutionalized their violence, and I think that the message or the philosophy of the day a long time ago was a lot different than it was today, and I think it could change towards something that is more towards a more free market and less state control over the means of production.
You didn't answer the question though, Sithis.
What was the question?
How did you know you weren't a leftist?
Well, because I didn't agree with the socialization of private property, and I believe very strongly in private property rights.
You said state control. Do you believe I support state control?
No.
Okay.
Ideally.
So then how is that representative of the left if you're just like saying, hey, state control equal left?
A lot of leftists more often support state control over the economy than people on the right, although people on the right do believe in that to a degree.
I would disagree.
Well, both sides
historically,
do. So you guys believe in free markets?
So historically, the left have been the only people who were against the state, legitimately. Like it was literally the left.
The state are for free markets. I said that generally the left is against free markets. Now you're talking about the state. So were we talking about the state or free market?
Okay, right. However you want to word like free market or whatever, right? Like that. Obviously, that means something to you. Okay.
The free exchange of goods and services between private property owners.
Mm-hmm.
Do leftists agree with that?
Do you disagree with that, or?
Yeah. Free exchange of goods and services from private property owners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would disagree with the notion of like private property as you would support it. Yeah.
Okay, so then we don't. Then we have a different view on private property.
Wait, so in 2018, you were like,
right.
I'm not.
Okay, so therefore, that's why I'm not on your side. I'm not on the socialist side. I'm on the capitalist side.
Well, do you own any private property?
Of course.
What do you own?
It's none of your business.
Okay. I mean, I feel like we've discussed it, and you don't really own any private property, right? So it would be like...
What do you mean I don't own any private property?
So there's like... There's like... When it comes to this dichotomy between personal and private property, like it's better to just use the term property in and of itself because you both have some theory of property.
I've never in this conversation used the word personal property.
I'm aware of that, right? But obviously, I mean, you're talking to a Marxist, right? Which means that he thinks that private property is going to be the means of production, right? And you don't own that, right? So it's going to be...
I do own a means of production. I own my...
You don't.
Yes, I do.
Car. Talk about the car.
If I do DoorDash, that's a means of production.
Whatever, that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm saying that...
If I use my computer to live stream and make money...
When you're actually defending property ethics or anything in that regard, like making the dichotomy at all is completely useless when you're talking to Marxists. I
respect what you're doing, but as opposed to telling me what I should say, how about you just make the point yourself?
Okay, presume.
Right.
I'm sorry, but presume that they are making the distinction between personal and private property, and then like go from there. I'm sorry, but like.
Well, because I'm just curious, like how you.
I don't see how
ground...
how to add too much to the conversation, but okay.
Right. But how do you ground your understanding of reality? And because you said that anarcho-capitalism is more grounded in reality. This was part of the reason that you said you're an ANCAP. Okay, I just want an explanation of how that is possibly the case.
Well, because I believe in the Austrian school, and the Austrian school's very focuses on scarcity and human action and praxeology, and I feel like that those ideas apply most to reality.
Okay, if that was the case, why is it that this is the only heterodox school of economics that rejects empirical analysis and evidence?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, because obviously it's not grounded in reality. Like you're saying,
I do believe it's grounded in reality. It's based on axioms that are deduced from logic that are observable in the real world. I mean, do you not believe that man acts? Is that something you disagree with?
Sure, humans don't act. But anyways, regarding economics,
then what are you doing right now?
Not acting, by the way.
Yeah. Wait, Marks, what do you mean they reject? Like, could you be more specific?
I could explain. So basically, the idea of empiricism, using empirical studies to prove our what you call it. Sorry, it's kind of late for me, and I've been I had a long day, so and I'm kind of sick too. My nose is blocked. So basically, the idea is that our things like time preference and the action axiom and marginal utility, we did not come to those economic principles through looking at empirical studies. We got through those principles through the logical deductions, which would be the action axiom.
Yeah, wait, just and then from though. You said in 2017 you were a Trump fan? A big Republican
around that time. I don't know
and
exactly.
Then in 2018, you said, "Well, I'm not a Trump fan, but the leftists don't respect property," and so then you became a libertarian.
No, I mean leftists believe in
George Floyd?
They support.
Where did that come from?
It has nothing to do with George Floyd.
What way were the left disrespecting property in your view?
I mean, generally the left.
He's just saying principally. He's saying he's not talking about an event in 2020. He's just saying principally he doesn't agree with I don't know, the idea that people.
So for instance,
multiple people can own one thing or something. Like he doesn't.
No. Well, I mean, I do agree with that. I mean, I do believe that, but that's not the issue. The issue is. The left, a lot of people on the left believe in very strict regulations, state regulations, whether it be over the economy, whether it be healthcare, whether it be the minimum wage, whether it be allowing for unions to force themselves onto to be recognized by certain private businesses that would otherwise not. Those are infringements on private property that I would otherwise not support.
Oh wait! Did
can I actually detail something though?
Property or no?
What?
I mean, Joe Biden support, but I don't think that's. I don't know if that's what he means. But so
I'm just curious.
I have a question.
Would you let him answer that, or do you not want him to answer that?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Did Joe Biden disrespect property? KingSithis?
Well, I would say, from my perspective now, I would say yes because he's a president. He supports the state, and the state. Forcefully extracts wealth through taxation.
In your mind, 2018 Sithis, does Joe Biden disrespect property?
Well, I mean, he supports a lot of the leftist policies that I just stated a couple minutes ago. So,
right, but here, so you mentioned unions, and this is actually really interesting. What do you think happens if the state, right, doesn't exist? What happens with labor unions?
They would have to stand on they would have to exist without coercion.
Wait, what do you think the coercion is?
I mean,
I don't think that's hard to ask, right?
would have to
No.
submit.
But I think the problem is you haven't looked at this empirically. Because I can tell you what happens when there's no state and there's labor unions. You know?
But Pinkerton's massacre.
Okay, are we talking about a place where there's no state, or are we talking about Ancapistan?
Well, I'm saying what would stop labor unions from like seizing the means of production if the state
No, the
isn't
unions
there?
can't use the government to force people
I mean,
to do
because
what they
if
want.
somebody owns it, I would say you wouldn't have the right to just take that thing from that owner.
Hold up, this is so confused what ANCAPs would believe. Sithis, they would say that there's nothing stopping them, and that is totally fine, because the ideas of anarcho-capitalism is not like a strict honey hole into capitalism. It's based on voluntary exchange. So if like the workers decide to collect together, and they voluntarily decide to make a worker cooperative, and they see the means of production, under anarcho-capitalist ethics, you cannot really oppose that.
No, I would not be able to oppose that. No, you're right. But the thing was, I was assuming.
Scale,
I guess I'll put a caveat to what I said, which I guess assuming that there's no initiation of force. I mean, if they are initiating force, then the owner of that property would that their rights would be violated. But assuming that the owner of the property is okay with what is going on, I don't see any issue.
Or they just rise up.
I just believe that it should be done voluntarily. When the state gets involved and forces a business to either recognize or accept some sort of union, to me, that's the state coming in and enforcing the will of the union, and I think that's immoral.
You know, that's the opposite of what's happened historically, though, right? It's actually the other way around.
Who cares?
Look
at the status quo today. There's either a right
it is
to work
illegal,
state or you're not in a right to work state. In some states, if you're a plumber, you're forced to join the union.
Yeah, actually, that is true. In states right now, even if you don't want to be a part of a union, you still have to pay union dues. It's illegal not to do so. That's another state infringement upon the rights of workers as well as the owners.
Wait,
real quick.
In what way would people seizing the means of production not be like? I don't get that. Why would they?
We're all over the place.
Wait, one at a time, guys, because I can only handle one at a time.
Yeah, stay on one topic.
Yeah.
Wait, just to respond to what
wait,
let
Dark Karl Marx go, because he wanted to say something this whole time.
Okay. In most U.S. states are right-to-work states, and this doesn't even apply, okay, regarding paying union dues.
Well, where it applies, it would be immoral.
Hold on, that's fine. But historically, you do understand that the only reason these laws, like right-to-work states, exist in the first place is because the United States has put forth restrictions against unions. That's actually what right-to-work states are. They're not.
I don't think the state should put restrictions on anyone, unless you're initiating force.
Okay, I understand, Sithis, but do you know that historically, when there were no labor laws restricting unions, that unions had much more power, right, than they do currently? And that's because you don't need the NLRB in order to establish a labor union, right? You don't need, there's no restrictions on general strikes, on the kinds of strikes workers can engage in. There's no right to work states. None of this exists. And through this, you have like...
There's an even better empirical example. I forgot what Nordic country it is exactly, but they literally do not have like right to work. They just have like basically strong unions that are completely like, I guess, private sector, and like they like effectively have a $15.
What's right to work again? I'm not sure. What does that mean? Like what?
Okay,
I know
right to work.
Oh my gosh! Let me tackle this. If you do not live in a right to work state, that means if I'm a plumber in the New York State, I'm forced to pay union dues. If I work in a right to work state, I can become a plumber and I have the choice of joining the union or working outside the union without any obligation to pay said dues.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, that's not quite how that works. So it only applies to unionized firms. You can work for a non-unionized firm and you don't have to pay union dues, right? But if you do work at a unionized, that is true.
If I want to become a plumber, if I want to start my own plumbing business in New York State, I must join the union and pay union dues. If I don't,
incorrect.
I'm a criminal.
Incorrect.
But can I ask you
what about those? incorrect?
quick question, Dark Karl Marx. So
If
the
you-
people
listen,
who hold on,
Okay,
just
I'll get-
because you kind of been asking me a lot of questions, if you don't, and then I'll whatever
Yeah.
you say after this, you'll pass it back to you if you want. So who generally are the people who support like the laws that allow the state to come in and force businesses to recognize unions? Like, are they generally progressive or right wingers?
It's usually workers, people who have jobs. Historically speaking, at least.
I mean, okay, so progressives generally don't overwhelmingly support these things more often than right wingers, right? You don't think that's true?
I can give you like one example. Like Gregory Mankiw is probably a liberal, right? He says that unions are really bad if you like can't hire outside work. But
that's okay. I mean, wow, one antidote. Wow, thanks.
Well, no, I mean,
am I crazy for thinking that generally, overwhelmingly, it's like leftists and progressives who are supporting the unionization of workers and the forcing businesses to recognize unions? Am I crazy for saying that?
Confused. Yeah, you're pretty much confused about this historically.
Okay.
It was bipartisan support by the working class, right? That regarding unions, the actual split early on in the United States, like if we look at towards the end of the 19th century into the beginning of the 20th century, the split was more along like, you know, racial lines, how unions should be organized, right? Like trade unions versus, you know, industrial unions, and how all of this should work together. Like the AFL-CIO has a history of, you know, restricting people based on race from joining different
Can
unions.
I hear
and
somebody else's opinion
IWW.
other than this guy's? Because I feel like I'm going crazy. Am I crazy?
We can look. Wait, we can look at. Do you just want to look at
Okay.
like
maybe I'm crazy.
We can look at who introduced. Like, do you know the NLRB, like the NLRA?
Not really.
The National
you
Labor
wanting
Rights
to bring up the
Act.
historical context of labor unions. Why not talk about modern day and how labor?
Yeah, I'm talking about now. I'm talking about progressives now, as we know it
He
now.
wants to read you his Das Kapital.
Yeah. I mean, even as it is the case, right? People who are
I
members of
you know, when I was
labor
talking about this, I wasn't talking about like 100 years ago. I was talking about now. Generally.
Historically speaking, when
so unions.
I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm a retard.
Union is.
Well, here's the thing. There's not a lot of unions today. There's not a lot of union members today, and a big part of that is because of the heavy restrictions, you know, that have been placed on unions in order to advocate for themselves.
What about teachers unions?
So-
like generally, like it's the Democrats who are support the teachers unions more often than right wing candidates.
Usually, people that are educated are Democrats, and
With
so the
regards to
people that are teachers are
Of
Democrats.
of course.
What
Got
do you mean?
No
That's
problem.
just true.
Of course.
Wait, do
no,
you
of
disagree?
course that is the
Listen here.
reason. That must be the
Wait,
reason.
sit this.
Right.
You
That
do
must be the
realize,
reason.
okay, in order, sit this, think about this. In order to be a
Correlation
teacher,
is not equal
you need.
causation.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
think about this for a minute. In order to be a teacher, you need an education. Do we disagree here? Someone
true.
tell me if we disagree.
Not true.
I mean,
Not true.
You
Plenty
cannot.
of states have
you can-
lifted. Plenty of states have lifted the college degree requirement to become a teacher.
I'm not even talking about a college degree requirement, dude. Okay, listen. And
Okay,
first off, hold on. Let's
okay,
talk
you need
about
a
this.
you need
In
a
order
high
to
school
be a
diploma
teacher,
in order to be a plumber too.
You need at least.
you know.
That's not true.
That's
Generally.
That's not true. That is not true.
true?
That is not.
Is
true.
that not true?
It's not true. It's not true.
Well, I mean,
No,
there's a lot of
you
jobs
don't.
that require a high school diploma that aren't really that hard.
That's okay. There are no jobs that like really actually require a high school diploma. They might in name only. Okay, there's actually not that many.
Are you sure?
If you go to a, yes, I mean they might have something.
Actually forces
Okay.
that now.
I
Yeah,
feel like you.
the
I
only-
feel like
there's,
you
like-
live in like this alternate reality. Like I don't know what the hell you're talking about, right? Like, am I crazy?
Okay, it's all good.
Okay.
So I'm a card-holding union member, right? The way that it
Oh,
works
good for you.
in right to work, in right to work versus non-right to work states is, in the case of you're in a right to work state, you do not have to pay dues if you are working at a unionized firm.
Good.
Okay.
And you
And-
support that, right?
No. But
Why
anyways,
not? Wait. Aren't you an anarchist?
dude, I think you're confused. Do you know how collective bargaining agreements work?
You misrepresented right
Do you
to work
not?
already.
Wait a minute. Are you not an anarchist?
I am. Do you? So you
Okay,
support
so-
contracts, right?
You support the state forcibly imposing its will upon a private business
It's not
on
dude,
behalf
it's
of
literally the opposite.
on behalf of a
Oh my
union.
gosh. You don't know the history. You don't know the history.
I'm
It's
asking you.
literally the
Whoa! I
opposite.
asking you a very clear question. Are you against right to work state?
It's not even a state thing. It's not even a state thing. Do you want me to explain to you how it works? Okay.
I don't know how much more clear
I'll
I could be
explain
with
it
the
to you.
question. You're literally just telling me there are
Oh my
right to work
gosh.
states where you don't have to be forced to pay into a union, and I'm merely asking you, do you support that?
No,
do you
dude.
think it's wrong for the state to force private businesses to accept you or workers to accept union
That's
dues?
not how it works. Okay. Do you collective bargaining?
That's not how it
agreement
works?
is? It is a contract.
So,
Dude,
before you tell us
Sithis,
how it
what
works,
is
can
wrong
you at
with
least do
you?
us
I'm trying to
the service of
explain. I'm
Googling
trying
it
to
first?
explain the basics of this, and you keep interrupting me. Okay, let me explain
Because
this.
you're wrong.
So when you form a contract with an employer, okay, based on the people that work at this workplace agreeing to join the union, then only in right to work states are they allowed to break said contract and hire out non-union laborers. Okay. Now, the reason this exists is because of the Taft-Hartley Act of 1947 that was
Okay.
instituted. Before this wasn't a thing. De facto, the contract, of course, says, okay, the employees want to unionize, therefore, now they're unionized. Now,
okay, so you're saying
the company.
I just want a quick
Yeah.
yes or no to this. So you're basically saying there are no states in the United States that force
You're trolling.
workers to pay union dues if they want to work
You're
for a
trolling.
company. I'm not trolling. It's a basic question.
Dude, I explained to you how this works. Okay, I can explain it again. You have right to work states.
Wait.
What
You
that
hear? You
means
guys
is
hear
that
how
if
he
you
just
work at a unionized-
completely
Oh my
dodged my
gosh.
question? You guys hear how he just completely dodged my question? I'm asking
How-
you a
dude, I'm
yes or no
answering your
question.
question, so-
Yes
Oh
or
my
no. Yes
You gotta-
or
wait,
no.
you gotta let him
Yeah.
finish. You gotta let
No,
him
I
finish.
asked him a yes
You
or
gotta
no
let him
question.
finish.
I don't want to hear the whole history of unions. I merely want to know.
How is it-
I merely want to
You gotta
know.
let him- you gotta let him- this is the lowest form of
Okay,
argumentation.
Jacob.
I know. it's
Jacob,
literally-
you're
it's
not
literally
a.
brain
This is
dead.
my room. I can interrupt whoever the fuck I want, and if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. Period. 2. I'm not trying to be
This
rude
is
to you,
private
Karl
property,
Marx.
by the way.
I'm merely stating. I'm merely asking you a yes or no question. If you are unable, if you don't know the answer to the question, then just say you don't know.
Dude, I've been trying to explain this to you like 10
so
times. I
so
can try
say
and
yes
do
or
it
no.
again.
What is the question? What is the answer? Yes or no?
Okay. So you have right to work states. In
Okay.
right to work states, if people work for a unionized firm, they do not necessarily have to pay union dues
Okay.
or become members of the
And
union.
and the states that
Okay?
don't have that.
However, the union is still forced to pay benefits to those workers. Okay? So the wages
so
that
we
were
should abolish that,
negotiated with
right?
the collective bargaining
And
right
it's not
to
even
work
true.
states, yes, we should abolish.
Okay.
It
And
is true.
we should also.
the
Untrue.
prevailing wage. Oh my
Let me
gosh.
school you real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right to work versus not right to work. When you are in a right to work state, or maybe I'll give the opposite example. When you're in a not right to work state, what that means is if I want to be in New York State and start my own plumbing business, I must join the New York State Plumbers Union. Whereas if I'm in a state like Florida and I want to start a plumbing business, I have the option to join the Plumbers Union, or I have the option.
You've never
to be a
started a
free
firm because you should know this. This is not real. You're completely incorrect about the notion
It is
that
by
you're forced to
definition.
join the union.
Sithis, shouldn't you
By
be against
definition,
right to
you're
work?
supposed- You must join the
What?
union or pay its dues.
I
You
think
should be
people should
against
be
right to
allowed.
work.
I think
In
people
these
should be
states- let me
allowed to
finish,
work where they want.
No, you should be
In
against
these
right to
states where
work.
there is,
I don't know what you. I don't know.
right to work,
These people
like
are
New York
insane,
State.
guys.
Wait,
Hold on.
because
Who's
It's like
the
it's
right
such
to
a
work?
simple
Have you
question.
ever-
I think it's so amazing that you are incapable of answering a simple question. Like he's merely asking you. There are clearly states in this union, in these states of the union, that make people pay union dues, despite the fact that they don't want to be a part of the union. Is that not true?
No, it's not. No, Sithis, you should be against right
No,
to work.
dude,
Sithis.
that's not how that works. I'm explaining. I'm literally trying
Can
to
I try
explain.
to
This
get-
guy
can I
just
try-
made up a lie.
Alright.
I have to
Ratify.
correct
Can you
him.
just shut up,
It
please?
It only covers unionized firms that are covered under the collective bargaining agreement that
Okay,
was
so
established
those
by the
firms that are
workers.
so those firms, let's say I work for that firm, and I decide, I don't want to pay the union dues. Will the state force me?
Right, then you're breaking the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, will the state force me to pay?
No, dude. There's no state forcing.
Okay, so
You're
I
so
could join.
confused.
Okay, so
You're
let's say the
confused.
company. So let's no.
This is
I'm
so
not
bad,
confused.
dude.
I'm asking. Let me clarify. So let's say I go
Okay.
to the company that hires the union, right? And I go, hey, company, hire me without the union. I don't want to pay the union dues. Would I be allowed to do that?
No, because you're covered. Okay.
So who's going to stop me?
You're saying
who's going to stop me?
Right to work. No, they wouldn't hire you. It would be breaking the collective bargaining agreement.
No, in the instance, they want to hire me.
Oh my god. Dude, they would be breaking the collective bargaining agreement. Do you understand?
That they're not allowed to hire new people?
Agreement is?
Are they not allowed to hire people outside?
Oh my gosh, dude, I feel like you're trolling Sithis. I keep trying to
I don't
explain
understand
this
why
to
you can't answer a simple question.
I keep answering your questions. The collective bargaining agreement means that they would only hire the workers who are part of the union, okay?
So if they decide, so basically, there's no state in the union that forces any business, right, or any worker to pay union dues, even if they want to work for the company that does not have this bargaining agreement.
Force companies to pay dues. No, the state doesn't force companies to pay dues.
Okay,
What happens is
that's not
if
my
you don't
question.
pay
That
the
wasn't even
dues-
my question, dude.
Oh my gosh. What? How is that not your question?
Because you weren't listening. I asked you very clearly, are there any states that force workers to pay union dues for companies?
Dude, I just said no. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
This is crazy. I just
Then
answered
just
that
say-
question.
Okay, so then
and you're
why
like,
were you
"That wasn't
answering
my
a question that wasn't a question that I asked you?
Dude. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. You have a
unmute
hard
Jacob's
time.
Ladder?
You have a hard time understanding simple questions. So let's say
Okay,
they
does
have this
does
bargaining
anybody
agreement.
recall me having a hard time,
let's say they have
understanding
this
simple
bargaining
questions?
agreement. So the state isn't going to come in and force anyone to basically.
That is not how that works.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
not how that works. No.
Now,
Okay.
let's say the state were to force somebody to pay the union dues.
Fucking Christ.
You wouldn't
Dude,
support that, right?
You suck so much, dude. You suck so much.
I know.
You're trying to move the goalpost to what we're like actually discussing to something we're not discussing, and it's like these weird hypotheticals that don't have anything to do with reality. I'm trying to inform you on the history of how unions actually operate.
But then if I ask you a simple yes or no question, it's like, oh my, your brain melts.
Does anybody recall that happening?
Yes, multiple times.
You answer a single yes or no question. Yet.
Wait, Marks, can I ask Sithis or no?
No.
Oh my gosh. You guys actually kind of are. Can you unmute Jacob's Ladder?
No. He was being annoying. Because he was interrupting. And acting like he was the moderator.
Dude, he was engaging and explaining why it's important to let someone to speak when they're teaching you something. That's what he was saying.
I don't need to be talked down to by anybody, okay?
You do.
No, I fucking don't.
You don't know.
All right.
You do, dude.
No, I fucking don't.
You literally do.
It's my room. You don't like it, you can
anything.
go. I don't
You
care.
keep asking basic questions that you can Google in 3 seconds, and then
if you can't handle questions, you can go somewhere else where nobody will ask you anything.
Hold on. Listen. Do you know what a collective bargaining agreement is?
I'm assuming it's a bargaining agreement that is collectively bargained.
Yeah, dude, you got it. Dude, this guy, dude, you must be like an A+ student. You must have done really well in
A++.
school.
He dropped out.
No, dude, this guy is a PhD candidate. This fucking guy.
A++.
In plumbing, maybe.
Can you unmute Jacob's Ladder though?
If you insist. All right.
Wait, Sithis, are you still against right to work?
And what do you mean by right to work?
Right to work is good.
I just tried to
right to work is
explain
fine. Yeah, I don't have a problem with right to
No,
work.
dude, right to work.
But
is
Allow
not
people to
good.
work where they want to.
Labor
I don't have.
contracts.
No, I don't have a. What? No, I don't think the state should regulate
literally
any labor
regulation.
contracts. I don't think the state should
Then
regulate
you-
any
then you
labor
should
contracts.
You should oppose right to work.
Is that what that entails?
Yes.
If so, then I'm against it.
Okay, based.
Yeah, I don't support the state coming in and telling anyone where they should work or for whom.
That's not how that works.
And who,
Right
where
to work
the
laws basically say that like certain like union elements of labor contracts are illegal. You can't have those labor contracts. They're regulations on labor contracts. You shouldn't support them.
Exactly. That's what I'm explaining. Like, I think you guys don't understand what right to work means. Some guy said it means that if you're in New York and you're a plumber, you have to join the plumbers union. That's just not even true. It's just
and that's
literally
where the
not a thing.
distinction lies. If that's not true, I think we're all on the same page. Like, we don't want the state intervening on our interpersonal contract between businesses. So if it is the case that I cannot be a plumber unless I join the centralized plumbers union, I think that's fucked up, and I think we'd agree. But if it is the case that, oh hey, in a non-right to work state, that means the state stays out of our business, and it can still happen where Joe's Plumbing pays to the central state of New York plumbing union, and then Smith's Plumbing pops up and doesn't want to pay and doesn't have to pay. That's what team we're on. So if I'm wrong, understand the principles at play in which dictate our opinion.
Yeah, I agree with him on that 100%. Like, fundamentally, the issue is whether or not there's an initiation of force, and whether or not there's like if somebody is coming in and telling somebody that they need to work somewhere or they need to sign a contract when they don't want to, well, that's an initiation of force.
A lot of this feels like complaining about being shot with a squirt gun when you're underwater. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole thing is colored by force relations. You know, it's all on the basis of state power. That's the reason these large companies can exist in the first place, right? And they're predicated on the fact that there's like state power in place to like uphold them. And then like so the union contracts have to be regulated by state authority, because otherwise it's just free association, and then you have like initiations of force on all sides. It's bare naked class relations without the state upholding them.
Well, I think that oh, sorry. I thought he was putting that towards me.
Well, I just wanted to say what I was trying to explain is that this is what happens when you have, when you don't have the state engaged in upholding the private property norms that you guys like and everything, is that the labor unions fundamentally would just be the ones in control. They have the decision-making and bargaining power without violence from the state even, they're able to the reason that we can't do it right now is because general strikes are illegal. Wildcat strikes are illegal. Solidarity strikes are illegal because of the Taft-Hartley Act of 1947. If none of those things were illegal, then workers would just seize the means of production right now. I
don't even know. I don't know if that's.
Well, it depends on how. I don't have a problem with people protesting. It depends on how you do it, and as long as you're not initiating force, I don't have a problem. As long as if you want to come together and you want to make a workers cooperative, I don't have a problem with that neither.
That's the irony of this conversation.
How do you sorry.
What?
I was just gonna 2 sentences. I think that's the irony in this conversation. I think it's funny that you're surprised that NCAPs are generally more supportive of unions, especially in the current state paradigm. If as long as the union is voluntary, it's kosher in our worldview. And the irony is that in these examples of like strikes, etc., and laws making them, companies, if there's laws in place that restrict the free flow of employees, we're on your same page. But there's room in our ideology for you, but there's no room in your ideology for me. So we're okay with co-ops and unions and small communist communes, as long as you let people are free to leave and free to join. It's kosher. But there's no room in your ideology for us. We can't.
You fundamentally don't believe in class relations.
You guys don't actually believe in any form of organization either.
I believe in class relations.
You guys don't believe in any movement that has to do with reality, advocating for anything, or like any kind of form of organization.
What would make you think that?
What form? Okay, how would you achieve anarcho-capitalism, right? How would you achieve it?
Agorism.
By by advocating.
Right. Just,
to
again,
stop
no
speaking
form of
against-
organization. Agorism is not some movement or form of organization.
Agorism is an organization? What are you talking about? It's anarchy, action, anarchy, agora, action, bro. Gotta get in there.
And let me just
right,
add.
correct.
Let me just add.
No,
There's the
I
Free
just said
State
not a
Project
form
in
of
New Hampshire.
organization.
There's seasteading off the coast of French Polynesia.
Dude,
There's plenty of movements. There's plenty of movements around.
Javier
like
Milei. They got Prospera in Honduras.
Javier Milei, guys. Javier Milei.
They got
Okay, look,
Wait.
Malay,
I actually have a question regarding this topic. Anarcho-capitalists claim to be revolutionary, but they want to change within the system. How can you revolutionarily change within a system? Hasn't the struggle?
Who said that?
Struggle.
But that's not revolutionary. Who cares?
Yeah,
This is
I don't.
just like
I've
him
never
just
said
saying,
that.
There's no system that you guys are supporting. There's no actual activism going on. And when I list them, you guys just laugh it off and move on to the next
Dark
topic.
Calm says
Yeah, you guys are kind of moving the goalposts because there is,
correct.
you know, movements of anarchists and ANCAPs that are trying to move towards anarcho-capitalism. It isn't just a group of nobodies doing nothing.
Wait. Okay, but so correct my misunderstanding then. Are you revolutionaries or reformists?
Who cares?
Both.
You tell me. You tell me.
Both.
So I'm not a big believer. I'm not a big believer in violent revolutions. I'd rather make the state anachronistic. So if we first agree that the state has a monopoly on services that you and I want, they have a monopoly on police, they have a monopoly on roads, they have a monopoly on currency, etc. Just like Greenpeace spent millions and millions of dollars to try to save the trees, yet a USB stick has saved millions more than Greenpeace ever has. We believe in furthering the same philosophy to the state. So the state has a monopoly on currency, no longer with Bitcoin. The state has a monopoly on police, but not in the state of West Virginia. There's more private than there is public police. The state has a monopoly on courts, no longer in the current paradigm. More court cases are solved through private arbitration because it's cheaper, more efficient, and more effective. So we're making the state anachronistic.
That's not true.
We're not big
Voluntary action, voluntary cooperation. Voluntary cooperation is always more efficient than force.
Yeah.
So you're
No.
So you're a reformist.
We love BlackRock. We love.
I'm both.
Reformers.
I'm both. I would say I believe in revolution, but at the same time, I believe in a non-violent revolution. But I also believe if we can reform the system, the only reformation that I believe in is lowering the state.
But the problem is that
or abolishing it.
Corrupt. But the problem is because of the corrupt bodies that run the state, they will only allow reforms that benefit them. So you're actually not challenging them.
Wait,
how did private arbitration benefit them?
Yeah, Bitcoin is great if you're trying to do some child.
Yeah, Calidor, this
trafficking,
just
money
is
laundering.
contradicted by the existence of Ethereum. Sorry.
Yeah. If all those things are things that are are tracked by the state and are transactions that are tracked by the state and was actually created by people who worked for the state and was released by people who work for the state, the dark web is what I'm speaking about, not Bitcoin. I mean, so it's it's not impossible to work within the state to lower its power. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of instances of people getting tired of the state and doing what they can to lower its power and reforming it in a way.
The Free State Project. The Free
So
State Project in New Hampshire. 20,000 libertarians signed up to move to New Hampshire to change the local government from within.
Wait, but just out of curiosity, the state is controlled by a corrupt oligarchy, right? Like it's what do you call it?
Cronyists,
right?
Cronyists.
Yeah, cronyists, right? Mm-hmm. It's run by cronyists. It's controlled by cronyists, and things like that. Is that correct?
Wait, which
100% correct.
Which one?
Okay, and you're going to ask them nicely to get across policies that don't help them.
Why are you granting this, Sithis? This makes you look like a fool.
How does it make me a fool? I'm not arguing that the only way to get to anarcho-capitalism is through working through the state.
Global cabal narrative? Why are you granting that? Oh my god.
What global cabal? What are you talking about? What do you think I just said?
Did you hear what he said?
Talking about a global cabal. No,
I'm not talking about I'm not talking about a global cabal.
Sithis, this is why I really want you to read that Engels book.
I did.
Because I think... What did you learn?
I wrote a little bit of notes on it, but basically,
you remember
he goes basically about scientific. He goes over by the differences between scientific socialism and utopian socialism, and he kind of makes fun of his fellow socialists for being what he calls utopian socialists and not using the scientific method. And he basically uses the book to just try to convince people to join socialism in a way that basically. He basically tries to make the argument that scientifically socialism is inevitable, and because
what's his critique on the utopian socialists?
Well, he believes that it's essentially, if I'm not mistaken, he believes that he doesn't think that merely using words or trying to convince people is what's going to make the socialist nation happen. He believes that the socialist nation is inevitable. And it could be proven scientifically, essentially, from his.
But that wasn't even his critique. Like, do you know? Like, he mentions Henry de Saint-Simon, he mentions Charles Fourier, he mentions Robert Owen in part 1.
Well, I didn't know any of those people, so when he mentioned them, I didn't really know. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but do you recall what he said about them, or like the kinds of communities that were established, or?
I don't really remember that part. I kind of skimmed through it, but I read a little bit of it.
Skimmed through it? Do you mean you had the audiobook going on like speed?
Yeah, I was listening to it through an audiobook. Yeah.
You guys keep mentioning the Free State Project. What you don't understand is that, and I've been trying to explain.
I mean, wait. What I said wasn't wrong about the book, right? I did.
Okay, dude. Sithis, can you please stop, dude?
What?
Okay. So, oh my gosh, dude. Why are you like this?
Go.
Okay. So the Free State Project keeps getting mentioned. And of course, this is just an example of utopian socialism. You guys think this is some unique thing. You think this is like a real movement that is transforming the economic landscape towards anarcho-capitalism, but it cannot be and it never will be, okay? And it only makes sense if you read, if you understand the critique of the utopian socialists who did exactly the same things in the United States, okay? They had the Owenite communities, the Fourierist associations, these kinds of intentional communities that were based around, modeling a society that's socialist, and they thought through moral persuasion, people would see, oh, look at how great of a system or that this community is operating in. We're just going to, engage in the same sort of principles, right? They failed every time in doing that, in spreading socialism. This is the same thing with the Free State Project. It's not something that
but I don't think Engels is right in the whole idea that like socialism is inevitable and that's the way that we're gonna get there. Yada yada. I really don't see that as being possible.
Whether or not,
but his solution, Engels in the book didn't come up with a real good solution for it either. I mean, that I felt like that made any sense to me as far as I could tell. I mean, maybe I overread it. Maybe you could tell me.
Sure,
but as far as I could tell, he was just basically saying, "Oh, it's inevitable. Just look at this time period. It had feudalism, and then it went to capitalism, and then it's going to turn into socialism." But it's just like, how do you know that?
I don't think you read the book. I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't think he read it. But that's. Well, Jacob, he doesn't read the books, dude. I asked him to read Principles of Communism, and instead he was like, "Oh, I listened to the audiobook once." I'm like, "What?" Which is insane.
How is what I said wrong? Is it not what he just... does he not believe that...
You just didn't say a correct thing. I don't know what you mean. What did I say that was wrong? You didn't
this
say
is
a correct
exactly
thing.
like what he brings up the Free State Project.
You said a thing that's like... You said a thing,
wow. I said a thing that's incorrect. What did I say that's incorrect? A thing that's incorrect.
No, you said a thing that...
You have to read the book.
Yeah, got you.
It sounds like you read a GPT summary. I asked you what's his critique of utopian socialists, and you're like, well, he thought that the utopian socialists were just trying to talk to people and convince them, and that's literally not even in the book.
Convincing them, essentially trying to convince them that through that, basically saying that capitalism is bad or using ethics to try to convince people, but he doesn't believe that it's gonna work that way.
Again, you must have missed the whole thing, because it's not about talking to people. It's about building the intentional communities as examples of what like a moral socialist society could look like, and he thought people would see these and then automatically want to become a socialist or join said communities or establish communities of their own. And this just didn't pan out. It failed every time. And he gives an analysis into this. That's why
Prospera's doing pretty well.
Rothbard, what?
Prospera's doing pretty well.
What the fuck is Prospera?
Well, Prospera is an economic freedom zone.
Private city state.
It's a private city, essentially. That's an economic freedom zone where basically the private
economic free zones have worked globally. Hong Kong, why it's so successful, is because it was an economic free zone. There's plenty of these across the globe, and it proves the proof is in the pudding that capitalism is better than communism or socialism or whatever flavor.
I know.
It's in Honduras.
It's fine.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's in Honduras, but this is not. I don't think this is what you guys think it is.
I've done pretty good. I've done a lot of research on it. There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, could you tell me something wrong with it? What do they do wrong?
I don't know what it is, but nothing is perfect. You know? Like,
I mean, as far as if there is something wrong with it, if they've done something immoral, yeah, I would denounce them. But as far as I could tell, there's nothing wrong with it. As far as I could tell, they're doing. They make a lot of money.
Taxation here.
Huh? That's state imposed.
Taxation immoral because they have taxation here.
If I'm not mistaken, that's all state imposed.
So there's a state. It's governed by a state.
It's an economic freedom zone in the sense that it's still run by the state, but basically what they do is basically.
What are we talking about then?
All right.
It's state imposed.
We're talking
that's just
about
why, respectfully, that's why I muted you before, because like in the middle of me literally explaining something, you're like, oh, like I don't got time to hear people do that stupid shit.
Isn't that kind of like a state exercise of power, though? It's kind of bad.
But fundamentally, wait, I wasn't even done what I was saying. The state was basically giving these certain zones. They get rid of a ton of regulations. They allow basically these businesses to essentially regulate themselves and own certain areas and set up these little essentially company-owned communes. And what ends up happening is these areas end up becoming extremely wealthy. They end up making a ton of fucking money. They end up attracting a ton of outside investors. And then what ends up happening is the state comes in and ends up trying to shut them down, as what is going on right now in Venezuela. They're actually, not Venezuela, in Honduras, they're trying to literally use the state to shut down Prospera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm literally looking at it.
It's kind of like what happened with Hong Kong. Hong Kong was an economic freedom zone. They allowed people to be. They got rid of tons of regulations. They had much less regulations than most other states. What ended up happening? They became super successful. Chinese communists got really upset about that, so the Chinese communists took them over.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, dude, because.
It's unfortunate that capitalism works, but the communists don't want them don't want to let them.
Where in Honduras is Prospera?
I don't know. I could just look it up for you if you want.
This is crazy because you just told me you've done.
It's on an island. It's on an island.
Okay, cool. And
I don't know. I could look up which island if you want.
Never would I say I've done a lot of research on this city and I couldn't tell you where it's located. Never would I ever say
it's in an island in fucking. It's in an island in Honduras. I could literally look it up for you.
Encountered this, like, hey guys, I've done a lot of research.
Wow! Oh my god, that's really your nitpick? Oh my god, you don't know where the exact location of where it is? No way! Oh, that's really the best you got? Wow, Dark Karl Marx, you're really bringing your best. Communists are really bringing their best.
This is actually insane.
Don't you think it's kind of fucked up that the China's Communist Party came in and stopped Hong Kong from being, an economic freedom zone and being their own country? Don't you think that's fucked up that those communists messed up those people? Don't you think that's kind of messed up, Karl Marx? Will you, Karl Marx, condemn the Chinese Communist Party right now?
Jacob, you might be onto something that this guy is literally allergic to fucking learning anything. Like, that might be your only political position, is that you just are against learning.
So, Dark, I guess you won't condemn the Chinese Communist Party? Okay, got you. If somebody
Dude, the
came up to
Chinese
me and
Communist
said,
Party
"Hey,
is my
Sithis,
favorite.
could
It's
you
my favorite.
could you condemn the Nazis?" And I would be like, "Hell yeah, I would. They're evil." I would jump to the opportunity. I'd be like, "Hell yeah, they're evil."
Would you condemn Augusto Pinochet?
If did he kill people? Is he evil? I don't know much about him.
Okay, you don't even. Okay, dude.
Is he evil?
All good. No, you're right, dude. You're right. All good.
No problem. I don't know much about him. You tell me. Should I condone him? Should I condemn him? Did he do anything evil?
What an honest thing to say. But here's my paradigm in which I will condemn him. Is he? And then his response is,
Yo, yesterday I had to pull, it was like pulling teeth to get him to condemn Stalin. I literally was like, hey, Stalin is a bad person. Will you condemn Stalin? Well, I mean, he brushed his teeth this morning. I won't condemn that. Like,
no, dude,
wow!
you're like,
imagine sucking the dick of a fucking mass murderer. And calling yourself an anarchist at the same time. Like, that blows my mind.
So in fact, this is what he asked me. He was like, "Hey, do you condemn everything that Stalin has ever done?" And I'm like, "That's insane."
Wow!
Like,
Yeah, because brushing his teeth was what I meant. Yeah, because brushing his teeth was what I meant when I said that. Wow. You hear this guy? You hear this guy? You hung. You hear this? You hear this guy? If I came up to you, Lung, you condemn everything that Hitler did, right? What do you think your response would be?
100%.
100%, right? So you wouldn't nitpick and be like, "Oh, but he brushed his teeth this morning, so I'm not going to condemn that." You wouldn't say something like that.
Rights.
Yeah, he supported animal rights, right? He wasn't that bad of a guy. No, he didn't do that bad.
Actually brain dead. But why is it though that you're
not
like,
an
not
anarchist, dude?
in
I don't think you're an actual anarchist, bro.
I don't think he knows the
You've
I
never
don't think
read
that
a
we would
single
agree on
anarchist
the
book piece
definition
of
of
literature
Condemn
ever.
the CCP right now.
I don't know what the CCP is.
The Chinese
I know what
Communist
the
Party.
CPC is.
The Chinese
You mean the
Communist Party.
CPC?
Do you know what the Chinese Communist Party is?
You mean the CPC? I'm
Yeah.
not a
So
fan
you
of the
see how he's
CPC.
dodging? You see how he's dodging, guys?
I'm not a fan of the CPC.
Are you seriously gonna act like you don't know what the CCP is?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh my god,
I
dude!
assume you're
Oh
talking
my
about-
god!
I
No
assume
way!
You're talking about the CPC.
No way!
And, I'm not a fan.
Nobody here is talking about the CPC. I'm talking about the CCP. I'm asking you about the CCP. You can't
Okay, so
condemn.
you're
You
not
can't
talking about the
condemn. It's kind of blows my mind that an anarchist can't condemn genociders.
Okay, so are you talking about the Communist Party of China, the CPC?
No way! Whoa! Did you gather that on your own, or did you have to look it up on ChatGPT?
No, dude. I literally said I assume you're talking about the CPC.
Do you support
You
the
kept saying
CCP? Do you support the CCP, the
You
Chinese
said you mean
Communist
the
Party?
CPC.
If you don't know what the
Is that what you
CCP is, you could just say so.
Right, I'm assuming that you mean the CPC. Yeah.
No, I mean the
Just wants
CCP.
correction to feel
Look,
mighty.
look, I'm actually gonna stop this because I've been wanting to say this point for 20 fucking minutes while you guys been having this pissing contest.
Yes, please.
Look, the problem with the fucking supposed ANCAP supporting labor unions, the problem with it within the 19th and 20th centuries were that they had the capacity to have private armies come in, completely wipe out these labor movements, these workers who were striking against them.
Oh.
Well, there were Pinkertons. That was a famous example. There was also freaking
You think I would support that?
I mean, largely speaking, that's consistent within ANCAP.
How is that consistent with ANCAP?
Okay, so these private business owners didn't have any freaking government oversight or anything when they utilized
That's an
these
aggression.
private armies.
You do realize you're talking to an anarchist, right? You know that, right? Why do you think I would support the state? Giving.
Bless your heart, buddy. Bless your heart.
I mean, why would you think I would support the state? I mean, why are you guys giving me these? That's such a ridiculous answer for me to say that I don't support the state forcing labor unions off, or doing messed up things to labor unions. Yes, yeah, I'm against the state doing that. Yes. Wow.
I mean, Yeah, but under this was like a private state, like doing this against.
I've got Karl Marx. I got nothing to say to you until you condone. How about this? Will you disavow Kim Jong Un?
All right, let's
I'm
not
not a
open
fan
up
of
that
Kim
rabbit
Jong
hole.
Un.
But let's
I
address
mean, I don't know the guy, but I'm
okay.
not a fan. But here,
Would you disavow
do you
him?
mean the CPC?
Look, just
Sure.
Carl, just say Tanky's bad. Just say Tanky's bad, please.
What about
So
Kim
we can
Jong
move on
Il
from-
and
Hold on, what
Kim Jong Il and Kim Il Sung?
Sure.
Bro,
You
two words.
condemn
Tanky's
them?
bad.
But sure.
Got you.
But
Good.
I assume you mean the CPC, right? And if that's what you mean, then I'm not a fan.
Let's address this
Wow.
other guy.
Why did that take you so long to answer? Like, if somebody
I literally
asked me,
said that exact
if somebody
same
literally
sentence
came up to
30
me, if somebody
You
came up
know
to me
that I
and
said that
said,
exact
hold
same
on, hold on,
sentence 30
hold on. If
times?
somebody came up to me
You
and
know that I
said,
said the exact same thing that I just said.
I know you're
30 times.
coping.
You know
I know
that?
you're coping. If somebody came up to me
Wait,
and
what?
said, "Hey, Sithis, do you support the Nationalist Socialist of German Workers' Party of the Nazis and back in the old days?" I would say no. No, I wouldn't be here sitting here trying to correct you. Actually, they were the Germans Workers' Party. Actually, they were called the Nazi. Actually, they were called the this. No, I don't.
Someone said the
No. What I would
NDSAP.
say
Someone
is
asked me,
merely,
"Hey, do you
oh no,
support
I
the
don't condone these guys. You know why? Because they support the
If
state,
some-
and the state is a criminal organization. As an anarchist, I would hope that you would agree with me on that. But it seems like it's like pulling a tooth in order to get you to
If
even
somebody
admit
asked
something
me,
to
"Hey,
like
do
that.
you support?" If somebody
I
asked me,
love
"Do you
it.
support the NDSAP?" I'd be like, "Oh, I think you mean the NSDAP." And if that's what you mean, then no, I don't.
Then why did you just say
No,
that?
I'm not a
But
fan
you
of
didn't.
it.
I had to pull your
I
tooth.
said
to
that
just-
30 times. I literally
Oh.
said that 30 times.
So,
And you
so
were like,
CCP.
"No, I mean the
when I
CCP.
say
No,
the
I mean the
CCP,
No, you're dodging. No, I mean the CCP.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay,
Got
I
you.
assume you mean
No
the
problem.
CPC.
Oh, got you.
And if that's what you mean, then I'm not a fan.
Got you.
That's what I said.
I
30
love
times.
how-
So
You hear
I have
this
a
guy?
question with
You guys hear
regards
this guy?
to, I have a question
I
with
said it like
regards
30
to,
times.
like the
Okay.
non-aggression principle. How is that doing like argumentative work for non-aggression principle?
What do you mean? How was it doing argumentative work?
Dude, these
What
guys
kind
are
of
so
question is
stupid. I
that?
wouldn't bother with the man, but
Yeah, says the guy who can't
I mean,
condemn, mass murderers,
Well, so like for example, right? Like,
so-called anarchists.
If I take it to be the case that like property is like illegitimate, like I'm some like some Native American who has like different property rights under my views, and I live in what you deem to be your property, and you decide to shoot me. How could it possibly be the case that I was the aggressor there? It doesn't seem obvious to me anyway.
No one has the right to initiate force against another person or their property. If somebody goes on your property without your consent and they refuse to leave after showing your weapon and saying, "Hey, I'm going to shoot you if you don't leave," then you would have the right to shoot them. You don't have the right to shoot other people on their own land. That would be a rights violation.
Yeah. I totally understand the position, right? But that just seems to me to be an assertion. The NAP isn't justifying that. The NAP is like, how do you word this? An instantiation of that, I suppose would be the best way to word that. Because like the NAP isn't justifying that at all. We can only understand what is aggression based on the
Whether
NAP
or not-
non-aggression principle.
Yeah, so obviously, like, the only way you could determine whether or not someone's initiating force is if you have a clear property ethic. Clear way of delineating who's the owner of which property.
Well, that doesn't seem clear
That's
to me
where
at all.
property.
Right? Like,
That's where property. What you call it? What's the word? Property. Ethics. Where's the word again? Bell. Help me out.
You can just say property ethics. but,
Yeah, property ethics. You need property ethics in
but-
order to determine who's right and wrong in a
No,
dispute.
you don't.
Oh, you don't?
I'm sorry, but you got the ordering wrong here.
What? Then go ahead.
Aggression is not like defined as a violation of property rights. Aggression is a
Sure.
violation of property rights, but the property rights are later derived here. The point is that we can define aggression here as the initiation of conflict, and conflict being defined via contradictions.
I think I said
Like,
that. Did I?
Yeah, I know, but like the point is here that the NAP would just state that conflicts ought be avoided, so it would be synonymous with saying that the non-initiator ought be given the property right in any case of conflict, right? So the property right would be defined after the aggression is defined.
that doesn't mean anything.
I don't understand that. Why would it be
does.
defined? After?
No, it doesn't.
Because my understanding is the axiom in which this is all foundation built off of is the idea that I own myself, I own my body, I own my
Self-ownership is not the axiom, and you don't own your labor.
What you own is your body. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like some views definitely hold.
What do you mean it's not the axiom?
Yeah, self-ownership is not the axiom in and of itself. That's not possible.
Not the axiom of what?
Of the anarcho-capitalist legal theory.
Yeah,
NAP
there
is
you go. That's the
axiom,
word I
right?
was thinking of. Sorry.
The NAP itself is the axiom in which self-ownership is derived from.
I want you to know, like, I'm trying to help you out here. You're just making a mistake. Like I know you think that because, you know, that's like the popular view on the internet. But like, if you read like anarcho-capitalist theorists, anyway, it's just not the case.
Make an argument?
You're just making a mistake right now.
You can't
It's
just
not the
say,
case.
"Oh,
The
if you
NAP
read this, you'd understand you're wrong." Make an
wait,
argument.
hold-
If you,
Wait.
I
How are?
I did provide an argument.
Wait,
Back out
guys.
simply.
Guys.
I can answer this question. I know what
I'm gonna pass it to you. Don't worry. I just wanted everybody to calm down. That's all. Just go ahead.
I'm really not mad. It's
No,
all
no,
good.
I'm not saying you're mad. Don't worry.
Look,
Go ahead.
I'm
Fel,
fully
go
aware
ahead.
that I'm fully aware that this is not the orthodox NCAP view. I know Rothbard disagrees with me on this, right? But I'm specifically, this is specifically a view. Do you know who Stefan Kinsella is?
No, I don't.
Okay, I mean, like the point is that the modern libertarian legal theory has developed quite beyond what Rothbard said in the 70s, and things like Hoppe and Kinsella has expanded on the theory quite a lot more. And we're not still stuck on these. Like there's a reason behind.
I mean, Hoppe doesn't justify his stuff via the NAP. Again, like the NAP isn't. That's not.
Hoppe does
Sorry.
justify via the NAP. The whole point.
No,
of,
because
like I know
that's
argumentation
not what I'm saying.
ethics. Wait, what?
That's not, the NAP again. It's not like a if you want to say the foundation. It's only an instantiation after you understand conflict itself. Like you can't. Okay, let me just describe a series of events for a moment, if I may.
Yeah.
Floor's yours.
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, I was just saying, floor's yours.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Sorry. I take something.
Yeah.
I say, if you take it from me, I will shoot you. How is that not aggression? Before there was no aggression, now there is. It just seems like, chronologically speaking anyway, there was aggression here. Of course, an anarcho-capitalist would never say that, because in order to understand when the aggression occurred, you can't just look at like, oh, who chronologically speaking initiated the violence. You have to have an ethic outside of that. That's it.
No, you don't.
100% you do. Otherwise, you would find property to be unethical.
In every single case of conflict, there's going to be a temporal order of the prior-later distinction.
Yeah, I agree. And in every case, the NAP would be violated by property.
How?
The NAP just states
I'm sorry,
conflict must be avoided.
Yeah, if I say, hey, if you step on this line, I'm going to shoot you. Before I said that, there was absolutely no threat, no aggression, nothing. If you could step on a piece of land, you would have not died. Now, if you step on that piece of land, you would die. It just is the case that you are in the initiator, which again is totally fine.
There's
but
no
you can't
conflict,
understand
yeah.
this via the NAP.
There's no all the NAP tells you is don't initiate conflicts. It doesn't tell you anything else.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you.
Can I
understand what conflict is? You can't. Sorry. Go ahead.
Where is the conflict here?
I don't understand.
I don't see
Shooting
a
somebody
conflict.
isn't a conflict.
So
Not
okay,
necessarily.
so
Getting murdered isn't
the
a
person
conflict? I don't
who's
understand.
initiating the conflict, right, is not the property owner because he got his land through just means. He did not violate any. Well, assuming that he got his house through just means, he's not violating anyone's rights by existing on his land. Now, if somebody decides to go on his land without his permission, that person is the initiator. That person is the initiation of initiating a conflict. If the person doesn't want that person on that land, if you use violent means to remove them, it's not your fault. That's a retaliation. That's not an initiation of force.
Yes. Right. I see.
It's
see
the
how you
person
just
who's
made that-
trespassing that is aggressing.
Right. And the reason why,
Right?
the
Or
reason
am I
why
wrong on
you are
that?
not viewing this initial threat, right, as an initiation of force, is because, in the case of Hoppe, I don't know, argumentation ethics or whatever, you have a, or the Lockean Viso. You know, you have an understanding prior to the NAP to figure out what even is aggression in the first place, because it just simply is the case. It's not even. I'm not going to pretend here. Can we all be adults here? It just obviously is the case that when I declare a set of property in the world, it is obviously, chronologically speaking, aggression. Obviously, right?
How?
I am saying, if you take this coconut from me, I will shoot you. When before, that coconut had no such threats attached to it, which is not a problem for you guys if you just understood that the NAP is not what justifies it. It's something prior.
Okay, well, hold on. No, but hold on. Do you apply that same to your body? Am I aggressing if I say, if you rape me, I'll shoot you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Great. So where's the conflict that I'm initiating by saying, if you initiate a conflict, I'm going to retaliate? How am I initiating the conflict?
I mean, so you can either have two views here. Either one is like, yes, I agree. It leads to pretty ridiculous conclusions to suggest that, you know, an initiation of violence is always wrong, right? You know, we're on the same page there, right? And then the second view is, yeah, it's not wrong to say that because you have prior understandings of what is and is not acceptable, and it is not informed whatsoever by the NAP. It's not.
You haven't told me how there is a conflict at all here.
But it's just really simple. Your definition of aggression, you know, this chronological series of events and so on and so forth, this chronological series of events, it's obviously contradictory to property itself, which is fine because that's not what the NAP is concerned with.
No.
So are you saying, and can I ask a question to clarify real quick? So are you basically saying that, let's say a woman is walking down the street, would you say she's a cell phoner?
He already conceded it.
So if that woman decides to say, fuck off, don't use my body, you would say then that she's initiating force against him back? Just by...
I mean, like, chronologically, I would say that's totally justified.
But don't you understand that initiating means that you're the first person to do that thing? Like, if you're responding to something that someone else did, how is that an initiation? That doesn't make sense to me.
If there is, we're just skipping past the hypothetical constantly. I don't understand why. There's a coconut right in front of you. There's a rock, a piece of land, whatever it may be, a thing that could be property. There's a thing in front of you that if you touch it, there would be absolutely zero negative consequences. And then some guy says, if you touch it, I'll fucking blast you. How is that not? Can you explain? Like, unless you just view like threats as not aggression, I just don't understand how chronologically the person who says initially, "Hey, I'm gonna blast you if you do this," how is that not aggression?
You aren't initiating a conflict.
I think that is crazy.
It is
crazy aggressive.
So
let me just pause it. I know we're trying to be adults here. So in reality, I think, you know, if a kid kicks a soccer ball over the fence, or if we're talking about coconuts on vacation, it's a hell of a lot different than if we're talking about coconuts on a deserted island in which I climbed the tree, risked my life and limb to get this coconut. It's a difference here. And I think if we're being an adult, we'd understand that there's a difference in the distinction here, and that we could make it reasonable to assume, hey, this coconut is worth his life, therefore he's willing to protect it with his life, versus, hey, this coconut means nothing. Who freaking cares? If the kid kicks a soccer ball over the fence and you murder him for trespassing, you're the crazy one. And you're the one that is going to go to the egg store tomorrow and not be able to buy eggs, and roll into the gas station and not be able to buy gas because nobody wants a crazy person living next to them.
But there's no difference in property titles. Like, you can't own something more than you own something else.
I think there's a reasonableness to this.
Yeah,
because you still have to live in the society in which you live. So when the kid kicks a soccer ball over the fence, it's a hell of a lot different than somebody trying to, I forget what you call it, but like move into your house while you're on vacation.
How is this?
I don't think that's really relevant to the situation.
I don't see how that's relevant, and I don't agree with that premise.
But you understand there's a distinction to the reaction, right?
I don't.
One,
I
you
don't
might
think...
feel justified in shooting.
Why
One,
would I
it doesn't
care about
make
the
any
reaction?
sense. You're the crazy one for
Okay,
shooting.
can I jump in here real quick? So when you're saying an aggression, right? Right? If you're talking about that in the sense that someone's using force against another person, you could say that a person who uses force against another person in retaliation for their force, they may be aggressing, but it's not, or they may be initiating, not you, they may be initiating a conflict, right? Or not, they may be adding to the conflict, right? But there's a difference between a person who initiates a conflict and a person who retaliates to a conflict or from a conflict that has been done to them. If I go and attack someone and then I attack back, that is not a aggression or the initiation of a conflict. That is a response to a conflict that is initiated from another person. Or by another person.
I agree. Once you have a series of assumptions, then the non-aggression principle can totally come in. I agree with you. Yeah, like I said, I'm agreeing with you that the non-aggression principle, once I agree with like several like property claims and provisos and so on and so forth, then yeah, of course we can understand aggression after the fact. Yes, that is totally the case. But it doesn't do argumentative work to A, justify property, or B, justify anything if I don't necessarily agree with those provisos. So again, back to like the Native American, there's you have a house. I don't think it's the case that anyone owns any property whatsoever. So I start squatting in your house. Well, under my view, right, it just seems obvious to me that I'm doing absolutely nothing wrong because you have no property claim there. Under your view, yeah, I am doing something wrong. I'm invading your space, right? But notice here, non-aggression isn't going to help us figure out who's wrong and who's right. What we need to do is something entirely different. Like how does the non-aggression principle help me figure out whether or not the Native American is correct with respect to property rights, or some random guy who owns his house is correct? The answer is it
the
can't.
Property theory makes it easier for you to determine who is the right in the situation, and who's wrong, or who is the initiator of conflict.
No, it doesn't.
What? What?
No.
What?
I'm sorry. Look, you can't. I don't think you can derive the NEP from property. I think property is derived from the NEP, right? I want to get back. I don't think self-ownership is fundamental in theory. I want to get back on like the hypothetical with the coconut, right? So if I say, if you initiate a conflict, I'm going to shoot you. How am I initiating a conflict?
There was not a threat, and then there was a threat. The coconut existed independent of you.
But who was the one that initiated the threat?
I'm asking you. Okay,
the person who claimed the property.
I don't care about threats. I don't think they're meaningless in law, right? What I'm saying is that, how am I initiating a conflict here?
If I put up, I'm sorry. If I put up a sign that says if you do X, I'm going to shoot you. That just seems obviously. That just seems like I'm obviously.
I don't see how I'm initiating a conflict here. I don't see.
I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. If you can you say the word like, or that's unfair. We're having a conversation. That's totally unfair. If I say, hey, if you say blue, I'm gonna blast your cap off. That's not me initiating conflict?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, like obviously, right? It's just so obviously the case that if I say, if you do X, I will blast your cap off.
Yeah, because
it's just obviously the case that it's conflict.
Yeah,
now, again, it's totally fine. The NAP is going to say this.
But how do you determine whether or not it's right or wrong?
Let me respond.
I agree. The NAP is not going to be able to help you out because the NAP is already after the fact that property is justified, which the NAP cannot help justify.
I think I might have to blow my own cap off at this point.
You should.
So like the problem of the saying blue here is that I am not by virtue of saying blue, I am not initiating a conflict, right? But when I'm taking the coconut, I am initiating a conflict. I have a right to say blue. I don't have a right to take the coconut.
Yes, yes, right.
Yeah, no, I fucked up there. No, I should have phrased that better.
Oh, okay.
You're
Sorry.
right. I should have phrased that better. You're right. So, the problem here is that again, when it comes to what conflict is initiated, I don't think like the mere threat of force, right? It's not going to be necessarily initiation of conflict, right? If we're actually looking at analyzing, we have a case of conflict. We have two actors trying to implement the same scarce means towards mutually exclusive ends, right? I say, if you initiate a conflict, right, I will stop you from initiating conflict. I will end the conflict.
Right.
I can't possibly see how I'm initiating the contradictory uses here. I am simply implying that if you do initiate a conflict, I will use violence.
No, I think we're on the same page. If you already agree, right, that there is something wrong with doing XYZ, right? Saying blue, taking the coconut. If you already agree that that's wrong, then retaliation cannot possibly be wrong. I mean, we're on the same page there. But notice again that the argumentative work to determine whether that thing, saying blue, taking the coconut,
I don't think
is
it's
not going
defined
to be
via
found out
property.
via the NAP. It's
I don't
only
think-
after we find that out.
No.
But it is fleshed out in the idea of self-ownership. You
No,
saying
dude,
blue has no
you're not
helping.
violation
You're
of
not
my
helping. You're not helping.
self-ownership.
You're
Wait,
not
let
helping.
Bell
You're
let Bell go.
Yes.
Let Bell finish his line of questioning, please.
You're conceding his point that you're not helping. So I'm saying that like I don't think I need any theory of rights to be able to understand what a conflict is. I don't think I need to understand that I have a right to say I can say blue or something. You need to identify that what is an initiation of conflict here, and that taking the coconut would be an initiation of conflict in this instance.
Right. Because it's an initiation because you think you have some sort of property right to that
No,
coconut.
it's not. It's not because of the property right. It's an initiation. It's only what we can define initiation through what action is first actualized.
Yeah. Like for example, saying I'm going to pop your cap off if you do this. Like
That's not
if somebody did
necessarily
that
initiating
first,
conflict.
chronologically speaking, they would be the initiator. We're on the same page. I agree
Not
with you.
necessarily. No, I don't think so.
Right. Not necessarily, because in instances in which you have the right to that certain object, or another person is going to be conceptualized as
not
an initiator,
about
then
the right.
yeah, the retaliatory force is not going to be initiation. It's going to be retaliation.
How do you understand conflict?
Oh, the retaliation. I don't think you need to have any prior concept here of what is right or wrong here. I just need to identify whether or not that other party would be initiating a conflict, and thus retaliatory force would not be initiating a conflict, right?
Yeah,
All that matters if it's the
totally
other
agree.
party. But you're just presupposing that I need a prior theory of property to identify what a conflict is.
No, I'm. It's because we both have either some sort of, I don't know, maybe you have a very complicated theory of what is and is not initiation. It just seems like so obvious when I say the words, if you do X, then I will blast your cap off, right? It seems so obvious to you that you agree that that's going to be, it's just obvious, right? Like, again, it's super obvious to anyone with like half a brain that if you say blue, I'll blast your cap off. That when you say blue, I'm not retaliating against you. Super
Saying
obvious,
blue
right?
is not initiating a conflict.
I agree, because saying blue, there is absolutely no way in which. Sorry, apparently I blocked somebody. I'm gonna unblock whoever that is so it stops spamming me. I agree, because there's no way that saying the word blue is going to be could be construed as initiating force, because I have a theory by which you have a right towards doing that. That's it. It's really simple. It's not complicated.
You still haven't explained why I need the theory of right to do anything.
Because chronologically speaking, it is not the case that when I take your coconut, I am the one initiating force. Chronologically speaking, it's just not the case.
I don't care about force. I care about contradictions.
Yeah, I understand that.
I have no problem with initiating
I'm talking
force.
about conflict.
Yeah, I know. I don't have a problem with initiating force or initiating violence. I have a problem with specifically initiating contradictory directions of the same scarce means.
Yeah, I agree. So you have a theory of property that is prior to the NAP. Yeah, you do.
No, I
yes,
don't.
you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
What do you mean? Yes, of course you do.
No, of course I don't.
I guess we can just say yes, no, if we want to keep on doing this.
All you're saying, again, to be able to identify what a conflict is, I don't see why I need to understand
Well, how about this? Can I ask a question to you, Bell? How do you determine whether or not someone's initiated force? What do you need to know?
Initiate a conflict, right?
Yeah, or initiate a conflict.
What you need is you need a theory. You need a
Wait,
theory of
I
love.
didn't. Wait, I'm not asking you him. Not asking you him. Not asking you him.
Oh, sorry.
So what do you need?
To identify who initiated conflict, right? It's just what course of action, who tried to implement who tried to implement the mean towards some end first, right? So if
But how do you know? How do you know whether or not somebody is using some scarce resource in a just means?
What? I'm not saying anything just yet. I'm purely descriptively talking about the prior later distinction, right? I'm not saying anything is just yet.
So if somebody's used it first, that would make it, and then somebody comes in second and then makes them do
they would
something.
Be employing it.
No. You're King.
So you're basically saying, hold on, man. Whoa, don't interrupt. Whoa. Do not interrupt me, please.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
No, I was not. So what I was going to say is that don't you need to know like who's the owner of some said scarce resource in order to determine whether or not there's a conflict?
I don't think you do know.
So then how do you know if there's a conflict?
To see who tried to implement it towards some ends first.
But then what did that make them? What did that?
We can see.
But if you're saying whoever's doing it first, well, aren't you? Isn't that basically a property theory?
Not yet, no.
Well, yeah, it is because you're saying it's if it's first.
That's specifically what the Lockean Proviso is responding to, right?
So you're so the first. Hold on. So the first comer ethic, right, is what you're operating on. I'm assuming.
I'm not trying to derive any ethic yet. I'm just trying to describe what a conflict is.
So how do you know the conflict is happening if you're not doing it based off the first comer ethic?
It is the case that the latecomer is going to be initiating the conflict. The ethic is not derived until later.
Yeah, but how do you know that the latecomer is the latecomer?
Why do I need any ethic to understand that there's going to be a temporal?
Well, because how do you know whether or not the person is why the second comer is immoral?
Crusoe, I'm not saying anything about
or not immoral, but is in the wrong or initiating a conflict.
I'm not saying anything about what is immoral. I'm not saying that it is unjust to initiate a conflict yet, right? I'm just trying to identify what is an initiation of conflict at all, right? So the whole thing again, like Crusoe and Friday on a desert island, right? So picks up a stick. We know he has not initiated a conflict. He cannot have. There is no other party. He wants to use the stick towards spearfishing. Then Friday comes along. He wants to use the same stick, but for a campfire, right? We can objectively identify that Friday here is the latecomer to the stick. Friday tried to implement the stick towards some end first, and then later, a later comer, right? Friday has initiated the conflict over the use of the stick. I'm just trying to descriptively tell you what a conflict is and identify that there is a prior.
So okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying. Don't worry, man. I'm trying to understand. I'm not trying to break your balls.
No problem at all.
What I'm trying to say is, okay, so it seems like what you're saying is you're stating that you're not stating that one is the owner or not the owner. You're merely stating the objective fact that the person who is coming second is initiating a conflict.
Yes.
And essentially, regardless, the property theory is irrelevant to that situation. You're merely stating a fact.
Yes.
Okay, got you. That's all I'm asking. I was just wondering.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's just. Oh yeah.
So I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. So Ham, if I could put it in my own way, if maybe I could explain it in a different way. So when somebody comes up to you and stabs you, like just randomly stabs you, that person is the first person to initiate some sort of conflict over the scarce resource that is your body.
Yeah.
Like that is objectively a fact. They are the first person to initiate the conflict.
I don't know.
You haven't given me.
But like,
well, you know what I'm trying to say, man. Don't be.
I know.
Oh, come on.
I'm not trying.
Ham.
I know they're the later comer in the conflict. Yeah.
So the first person who is initiating the conflict is the person who stabs, right? That's just a fact, right?
Yeah.
Ham?
I mean, I assuming that obviously, wait, the first person who stabs is the initiator of conflict. Yes.
Yeah,
Is
that
this
like
all you're
that
saying?
person is the first person to commit the conflict, to initiate the conflict, right? Or they're the person who's initiating the conflict, to be more precise.
I guess like ceteris paribus, sure.
Okay, so that's just an objective fact.
Like, no, right? Because like if I'm like,
He's
if I
just
take it to be the
asking.
case, if I take it to be the case,
Okay, so it is the objective
hold on, like-
fact that that person is initiating a conflict. Like, that's a fact. No?
it's not, right? If I take it to be the case that like prior to my stabbing,
Then they're
prior to
objectively
my stabbing,
initiating.
Okay, so if I come
Prior
up to
to
your
my stab-
body, if I come up to you and
listen, I'm
stab
just trying
you...
to clarify. I'm just trying to
Let him
clarify.
answer.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify. So I could be mistaken as to what the hypothetical is, right?
Mhm.
If I take it to be the case, right, that saying blue is super duper wrong, and like on par with like committing a genocide, and you keep on saying blue, it seems to me, and that really is the case, that saying blue is wrong in that way.
Let's
to me that
can
you
we go back
initiated
to
the
my
conflict,
Hold on.
which is
Let's
obvious.
keep it simple. Let's keep it simple here. I'm gonna try one more time and then I'll pass it back to you, okay? Let's try to keep this as simple as we can keep it, okay, Ham?
Okay.
I'm a random person. I come up to you and I just stabbed you with a knife randomly, unprovoked. Right? It is an objective fact that
You already said it wasn't.
Huh? I
already
know,
said
I
it
know,
wasn't.
but hold on. So
Like,
it is
there's
not
no
the
point, there's no point in keep asking him. He already answered. There's no point in this.
But
Sorry.
the answer to your question is that you haven't given me enough information to even determine whether.
Okay,
or
so
not.
then I guess my last question would
I feel
be,
like that
what
is
do
enough
I need? What do I need to add to this hypothetical to allow you to determine whether or not the person who is stabbing is the first person to initiate the conflict?
You need to determine. Well, firstly, you need to determine what the rights are, and you need to determine whether or not, I guess, those rights are true. That's all, or ought to be applied in the situation.
Okay. Go ahead,
It's no
Val.
different than a serial killer, though, because if a serial killer goes and just randomly murders a woman on the street, that would be the person who initiates the conflict, would it not?
It would be, but under this case,
Yeah,
I mean, like under a set
Okay,
of
but that's the question.
That's exactly what he asked. It's just he said a
it's
random
not.
guy. Well, no, it is. It's exactly what he asked.
It's not what he's saying, because I'm telling you.
I'm telling you that
with
is what I'm saying.
Oh my god.
I understand that's what you think you're asking, but it's not. The reason why there's a distinction to be made, okay? So under our society, right, with a set of, rights and property norms and so on and so forth, it's obviously the case. It's just not even like arguable. It's obviously the case that some random guy stabbing me is initiating force, obviously, right? But that's not
That was the question.
Can we please go
What?
back? Can we please go back to the the
Wait,
debate,
can you
like-
say that last sentence again?
Just stupid. Can we please stop derailing?
Yeah, but what
It's
about the
obviously
serial
case that
killer?
it's initiating conflict.
No, like I want to actually get back to what counts as initiation.
Help me get
We
back
already
on
got
the rails.
through that, though, did we not?
Wait, but what
We're
was
still
the
trying
we
to
didn't.
figure out.
No,
We're still trying to figure out what's upstream or downstream.
I know what he believes. I know what he. I've been dealing with this critique for years. Like I know that you need a prior theory of property.
Yeah, you're talking to an OG here, bro. Yeah, and
I
Cap
know- I know
Doggo
the
is an OG. Well,
I
you
know
don't
the
see his name, but yeah.
I know the
Wait, but what was your initial answer to the question, though?
Me?
No, Bell.
Yeah,
What
I don't.
argumentative work does the nap do?
I don't even know what that's supposed to ask. Like, I can tell you what the order
Is this like a
is.
language barrier?
Oh, I can tell you like what the order is, but like what do you mean by argumentative?
Oh, what's
Wait,
this do?
did
I'm sorry.
He
There's like a
doesn't understand
three-step
what you
plan
mean by
for
that.
libertarianism,
That's
or-
what he's
no, tell me the
asking.
order. What's the order?
First, we need to identify what a conflict is, and the prior-later distinction, right, which is going to be purely descriptive and is not going to posit any property theory. That there is in any case of conflict, as when two or more actors try to implement the same scarce means towards mutually exclusive ends, there is a prior and later, and from that fact, then we can derive later that the NAP just states don't initiate conflicts, and from that we know that if the axiom here is the NAP here would be the axiom of conflict avoidance, then from that we know that the initiation of conflict would be criminal. That would mean that the non-initiator would be the non-criminal and thus have the property right.
So it's all in regards to property, right?
I don't think.
Oh man.
I don't think conflicts presuppose property. I think the property rights are what we're
was the
trying to
point?
drive.
Okay.
Well, I'm just curious if I had if I could just know if something is a conflict or not based on someone encroached or if they didn't encroach, would I not then just have access to what's the property?
No, you wouldn't look at the property rights. You would try to look at who the first comer and who the late comer is, and then derive.
Would there be any difference? If I had a machine that told me if there's a conflict or not, a yes or no conflict machine, and I was scanning around for is this the conflict? Is that not a conflict? Would I not be able to just ascertain all the property rights? No.
You would be able to, but the point is that the property rights are derived
Well,
later.
then, okay.
The whole point is that the property rights are derived later, right? I'm saying that to understand what a conflict is, you don't need a prior theory of property. It is the case that the first.
I don't think that what he's saying is really that ridiculous.
It is the case that the first comer is the owner, but that's not. You don't need to understand that to understand what a first comer is.
Yeah, the first comer is merely a descriptive statement. It's not a. It's not based on property rights. That's
Wait,
just.
can you
It's
sell
just.
property?
What if you?
Yes, you could sell property. What would make you think that we?
You also need
What the hell would make you think we wouldn't support that?
You can't sell all property.
But among the property that you can sell, you would need
generally, I mean, you can't sell your body. Obviously, your body is.
Well, I want to answer the question. What are you asking me?
So among the sold property that you can sell, you would need the transaction history to know if it's a conflict or not.
You would need to know the transaction.
It's not just who came first; it's who bought it, who sold it. You need to know that.
I can explain what it means. Because in a contract, what's actually going on in a contract, right? It's not why we can actually apply the prior later distinction here. In a case of contract, right? What's actually going on, if you actually praxeologically deduce what's going on in a contract, is the case that one party is abandoning claim to title and the other party is homesteading the title, meaning that he is abandoning the title entirely, and then the other party is become the first comer to it.
What do you mean that when you sell property, you still retain your first comer status? You just create this
No, when you sell
permanent
property, you abandon
contract?
the property title. You're no longer the first comer.
So this first comer status actually also relates to the transaction history?
So the question, could I clarify something?
Yeah, sure.
So what we want to do right now is we want to say, no, we're not talking about property rights whatsoever. We're just talking about descriptively what is happening, right? About conflict, right? Okay. So what I think, are you Radefi by chance?
Who?
He is the Chinese lettered person.
Okay. Asuka. What Asuka is saying, listen, we have this thing where chronologically it seems to be the case that there's a first comer, but there's no conflict whatsoever with the second comer taking the property, seemingly, right? Is that what you're saying, Asuka?
Well, he's not the first comer when he abandons the title, which is what's going on in a conflict, right? A contract, not a conflict. In a case of a contract, what's going on is that he's abandoning title, so he's no longer the first comer, and the other party is homesteading it and thus becomes the first comer.
None of that even means anything without ownership. Because
it
doesn't mean it. Homesteading, ownership, all of these are in relationship to property. We're not interested in that.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just homesteading is just describing initial possession. Maybe I shouldn't use the term homesteading. I wouldn't even say homesteading is describing an ownership claim. I would just say that it would be a case of being a prior to anything.
I mean, it sounds like you're saying you're selling the home to someone else, and now it is no longer your home because it was contracted.
No, I'm describing. I don't think you need.
He doesn't want to say that because that's property. He doesn't want to say that.
But if you can sell first comer status, is it not just a piece of property? I don't get that.
What's then stopping the person from just saying
it just sounds like property.
It is true. I'm saying that it is true that it is property, but it's not derived prior. You don't need the property theory to understand what it is. You just have to tell. In a case of a contract, right? We have a person and we have some scarce
Why do
goods.
you keep on bringing up contract? I don't get that.
I'm saying that in a case of a contract here, right?
Where's the contract?
What?
No,
he's
just let
not
him run
talking.
finish
He's
it.
not talking about a signed contract. He's talking about the legal in his legal
I'm
sense
saying that, like,
and cap
let's
sense.
say that we have Crusoe on a desert island, right? He picks up a stick, first comer to the stick, right? Friday comes along and says, "I want to trade that stick with you," right? And then Crusoe says, I also want to trade the stick with you, so I'm going to transfer the title to the stick. So I am abandoning the title to the stick. I'm giving it to you. That means that I'm abandoning title. Okay, not abandoning the title, right? I can see the problem there. But I'm abandoning the thing, and then he is then gaining the initial possession status. He takes it up.
I mean, this first comer status just
So
sounds
literally
like
what I
you
said.
can buy
I don't
it, you can
understand.
sell it, you can bargain for it, you can contract for it, you can give it away to charity. Like it's just property, you know.
So then, what
It's a
exactly is
deed.
this? What exactly is the conclusion of this?
The
'Cause, like,
debate is about whether or not you
Sure, I'm gonna
need
type it out for you. If
The
that's
debate
okay.
is about whether or not
I
you need a
hear
theory
the-
of property to understand what a conflict is.
What a conflict is.
Yeah. Because he's saying that I need to understand who is just and who is not just to understand who is initiating a conflict.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but that's what he's claiming.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you would claim that.
So I guess I can like ask a parody question. If just imagine for a moment, and this is towards Muncher. Imagine for a moment, it really is. There's just like a moral fact of the universe that saying the word blue out loud is equivalent, like morally speaking, to like committing a whole genocide. Imagine that universe for a moment. Can we do that, or is that
I
like a little
guess.
too?
It is
Okay.
very broad. It is very out there, but sure, we can.
Okay, awesome. So I give you this hypothetical. Some random guy.
Oh, hey,
in this
taxation.
universe.
Sorry.
What's up?
Hey.
Oh wait, what?
Let him do the
What?
hypothetical.
Taxation is a guy, isn't it?
Anyways,
Oh.
hey,
I cut my dick off.
Oh wait, it's like your wife or something. Okay. So I give you this hypothetical, and I say, some random guy walks down the street and stabs another random guy. Who initiated the conflict? Well,
Yeah, the guy.
what would your answer be?
Yeah, the guy that stabbed him. Yeah.
Yeah, like obviously, right?
Okay.
But I didn't give you enough information.
Shush. No, taxation. No.
let him go. Let him go.
But I didn't give you enough information because it's the case that the guy prior to that knifing said the word blue, right? Okay, and blue is like this really, 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 really bad thing. So when he said blue, he should have gotten stabbed. It really is the case that he should have gotten stabbed, even though initially,
Incorrect.
like from a. You don't think I should like stab Hitler? If I saw Hitler, I would stab him. I think you should.
No, first you would try to imprison him forever because that is a better scenario.
Let's not
I don't know.
derail it.
It's kind of
What?
It's
Why are
you
we
would
doing
try
this?
to imprison him forever because that's
Why are
a
we doing
better
this?
scenario.
I didn't mean to
No, no.
derail. I thought this was like super simple.
You're
Well,
not
you're the
derailing
one that
him.
gave me this hypothetical. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean it's all good. I
You're
didn't
not
mean to
derailing him.
derail.
Munch is just
Lauren,
not very smart, but it's okay.
The answer you gave derailed. Sorry.
The point, the charitable point being that like some exercises of force are going to hinge on whatever pre-existing theory.
But
which
what does
could be
that have to do with
counterintuitive.
the conflict itself? Because this is a very, like I said, a
Well-
very out there hypothetical.
Like,
Why does that matter?
In this hypothetical, it still seems clear that he.
Why
initiated
does the
conflict.
out there-ness of the hypothetical matter?
Because him saying blue and saying that was equivalent to genocide, and then
Do you know what the
it's just
point of the
very- it's just very
hypothetical? Oh my
ridiculous.
god!
Make it more
Why does it
realistic
matter?
hypothetical then.
Are you
Just make it
stupid?
more
I'm
realistic.
going to
one.
shoot myself.
Who cares?
Whether the
It's my bad.
hypothetical
I
is
should have
realistic
not
is
included
irrelevant.
this
It just matter. What matters is whether or not it applies to what we're talking about, and that's what matters. So yeah. You guys are making my brain hurt.
I mean, it's not even that hard. I'd rather deal in reality than just some random hypothetical that's like that.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
You know they put hypotheticals on a
like
contest
very.
for a reason.
Any person that says,
guys.
guys.
I already gave you my answer before even the hypothetical, so it's not even as if this is a ridiculous answer that I'm giving.
Look, all we have to identify is that saying blue does not initiate a conflict, and thus stabbing him would initiate a conflict. That's all we have to
I already said that.
identify.
But I already said that, so what's wrong? I don't get it.
Yeah, that's not the issue. I'm
Then
getting
what
very
is?
tired of this. Can you...
Yeah, what is the issue?
It's all good. Hey, listen, I gave a silly hypothetical. It's my bad. I appreciate. I don't think you necessarily answered in a wrong way. It was just that we were having a conversation, and I was trying to speed run the conversation, which resulted in other secondary considerations, which you brought up, which are not invalid necessarily. It just that leads to another part of the conversation, which might feel like derailing, if that makes sense. It's not that you said anything wrong. It just the objection you gave might lead to another conversation, which we don't necessarily want to have right now, if that makes sense.
No, I get you. Well,
Okay,
I already
yeah.
gave you my answer before that, so what is next after that?
I just kind of wanted to continue with Bell, if that's okay. But also, I'm not trying to exclude you or anything. It's just
let's do that.
That is excluding me, actually.
Okay, fair enough.
But hey,
Well,
that's fine.
if
Go
it is,
ahead.
then I am
That's-
doing
that's
that, and I
fine.
apologize.
Look, go
Please, let's
ahead.
continue this.
You can continue doing your circular arguments forever. Go ahead.
Ooh, they're circular.
It doesn't matter. Let's not
Man,
derail
that's
it.
a little
Shut up.
smug.
Well, no, that's exactly what's going to happen. I've been listening. to this, so-
Okay, guys. Yeah, let's get back to the combo.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bell.
I forgot where
Ham.
We were talking about the saying blue and the initiating conflict.
Yeah. Can I post this thing on the side chat and tell me where you think our two positions, if this is a fair summary, because maybe I'm misunderstanding the position, right? Normatively, and figure out that this is wrong. Something like that. Is that fair or no?
Yeah,
that might be a little midwitty, but is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure that we both understand each other, which okay, awesome. Okay, I guess for me, when I look at conflict, I don't even understand conflict without a normative framework. Whereas for you, it is this descriptive thing.
I'm using a Prax definition of conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm literally just going to define conflict as when two or more actors try to implement the same scarce means towards mutually exclusive ends. It's purely descriptive, right?
To the same scarce. Oh, I almost put property. The same scarce. Sorry, could you say that again? The same scarce
means.
Mm-hmm.
Towards mutually exclusive ends.
Okay. Exclusive ends. Awesome. Okay. Can I and then I was somewhat curious on your view on the blue.
Saying blue does not initiate a conflict.
Okay, so it just it under this hypothetical, you just say something like, "Hey, listen, it just really is not the case the saying blue. It cannot be the case that it's the same."
Yeah, it's not in the realm of law. You can make whatever moral claim, but it's not there's no conflict here. You're not initiating conflict, so it's nothing to do with law.
Why would you need to have a theory of property, to have a conflict with any theory of property?
I'm just objecting to what
me,
you're saying because I don't see how you're getting there.
Well, I guess to me, right, I guess to me, it just seems to be the case that conflict regularly occurs without scarce means whatsoever.
Well, this is
that's
a very specific
I'm
definition
using,
of conflict being employed here.
Yeah, that's why I'm using that definition.
And I think
contradictory actions, I'm assuming, is the definition you're using, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
mutually
already gave the
exclusive.
definition.
Yeah.
Mutually exclusive, right?
Or mutually exclusive.
They mean the
actions.
same thing, so yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Like, wait.
That's generally what Zulu says, but
Yeah, I know.
Technically, who Zulu is.
He wrote the
What's your
property
name?
through we're currently operating under.
he is our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, I mean, it just so I guess there's two like broad responses. The first one might just be like something like, "Hey, you are," and I think there was a conversation a little bit earlier that was kind of doing something like this. It was something like, "Hey, you're basically shoehorning a normative framework while also pretending it's descriptive," which I think is what we were getting at earlier. And then the second argument is something like this: it seems to be the case that with respect to like contract law and such, it doesn't seem to be that like there's any chronology there. It seems like you're just doing property rights, but then just calling it mutually scarce means. So I think those are like the two broad responses, but I'm not sure which one you want to handle first, or maybe they're not well formulated enough for you to do that.
Sorry, could you repeat the first one?
The first one is basically like, hey, you're just shoehorning property rights here but still calling it descriptive. I guess
Yeah,
is like
I don't. That's why I'm asking here. I don't see how I'm doing that. Like, I'm really trying under the definition of conflict I provided. I can't possibly see what normative claim I'm saying.
Well, it just seems like for me anyway. Like if I call you, I don't know, like the N word or something, or the F slur or something like this, it seems like I'm saying. It seems like I'm saying. Or doing something wrong. Maybe not like morally speaking, but I'm doing something wrong.
It only becomes a conflict once the other person reacts to it negatively and then says something wrong to you as well. It's like,
I don't even
how
that's
fucking dare
not.
you say
No,
that? No, that would be true.
Well, I'm not saying.
Well, that's
you're
not
wrong.
what we
I'm saying I
mean
don't
by
think
a
that would be
conflict.
Look, again, I'm saying that under like saying a word doesn't initiate any contradictory actions. Again, when I have a practice
that is literally what I said, but okay.
Well, no, you said it would be, but there would be a conflict if he said something mean back.
Yeah, that would start a conflict when he says
I don't see a
something
conflict
back.
here. Right? I see a conflict.
Now I don't agree with you at all.
Yeah, I know. I don't care.
I originally agreed with you, but now I don't.
The point I'm trying to make, it basically, is that the scarce, like you're putting scarce means there. Sorry, you're putting scarce means there when it seems like how it's typically used is just a much more broad definition, which is when they're like mutually exclusive, regardless of scarcity. That's all. The point I'm trying to make. That's all.
Yeah, that's not the definition I'm operating under, right? When I'm talking about conflict. That's
mutual,
why
mutual.
That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
We can like I can derive this whole thing. I mean, the
Conflict
whole
is when
point
two
of
or more
how we
actors
actually know
try
what
to
a
apply the same
all
strategies to
anarchism has always been a legal theory. Law has always been about conflict. The whole point of what Rothbard did is that he implemented Austrian economics into anarchism, right? So he implemented praxeology to understand what the conflict was. So that's why we're using this prax-based definition.
Yeah, but like again, that seems. I'm watching the pit right now, and they just showed the whole deck. That's not cool. Yeah, but again, I think that's dealing with the initial horn, right? Which is that you seem to be shoehorning some sort of normative view. Well, I mean, like you're putting like, I would say at least a controversial definition.
Is prax normative?
Praxeology? Yeah,
is that normative? What's that normative?
Yeah, prax. Wait, isn't it like justified via like argumentation ethics and such?
What?
Praxeology?
Yeah, praxeology is a descriptive claim.
Yeah, but it's like it's justified. Yeah, I mean that's justified. Well, sure,
is the law of non-contradiction a normative claim?
Actually, yes, I do think it is. Like I believe companions in guilt, but I mean that's like a.
Oh right, okay, yeah, of course you don't subscribe to LNC, right? What if?
Yeah.
Okay,
I guess if my answer is that, right, like, hey, I'm a companions in guilt memer, like then my charge might be like.
I've heard that
weaker,
before,
right?
but what does that
like
mean?
Everything is companions in guilt.
Yeah, I've heard that before. What's that mean?
Basically, that like normative claims and things like epistemic norms are going to be. If you deny one, you have to deny the other, and because people don't want to deny epistemic norms, you also have to believe in moral norms. That's
Hold
all.
on. If it comes to justifying prax, maybe, but I don't agree with that. But when it comes to the purpose of the debate, I don't think it's necessarily relevant. When I'm describing what an action is, do I need some normative prescription here?
When I'm describing what an action is, do I need? No, I don't think so. No.
Right. So what normative claim am I making when I'm defining conflict?
Didn't you just say that it was based off of like praxeology?
Yeah, but
If you agree that
the purpose of prax here under this definition is just when mutually exclusive actions, right? So an action is just defined as employing some scarce mean towards some end, right?
Wait, hold on, because I'm trying to fully understand this. Okay, so just because it's the case that praxeology, let's just say like in this like broader sense, praxeology is normative or whatever. All you're doing is just describing things, regardless of if it's based off of some normative framework, or are you saying something else?
I think so.
Yeah, I guess like I just don't think that's the case. I think like if you base something off of a normative framework, it's always going to be coextensive.
Is it K? Okay, like maybe.
Is it normative to point out an objective fact?
Okay.
I think it is, yeah. But like, okay.
What is normativity?
No, wait, also
like
okay.
You ought to believe something, right? But here's like,
but I'm not saying you ought to believe in prax, right? I'm just trying to describe what an action is, right?
Okay, got you. So you're not saying, listen, right? Like you ought to believe this. You ought to postulate so on and so forth. It's just if it is the case that I postulate this, then I could just describe so and so, right?
I'm saying if it is the case, then I don't see the problem, because if I just define action as employing some scarce mean towards some end, would you disagree with that?
Yeah, because I don't agree that there's like scarce means within that definition, but whatever, it's fine because it could be a stipulative definition.
Well, could I ask a quick question? Let's say me and you are hanging out and we see a ball roll down the hill, and I point out to you that this ball rolled down the hill. Would you still say I'm making a normative claim there?
Like ultimately, yes, because again, I think like with claims like that, you are employing some sort of like ought. You're saying like you ought to believe this. You're almost making an argument. But like, I think ultimately, if that's my position, which it actually is, you could say something like, well, this is so broad that like almost everything is normative.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, let's say this is a normative claim. Let's say this is a normative claim, right? But it's not a normative claim in regards to the NAP.
Mm-hmm.
The normative claim has nothing to do with the NAP. The normative claim would be about whether or not prax is true. It would be irrelevant to the debate, wouldn't it?
Right. Because the argument is something like this. The NAP can't do argumentative work independent of that. It needs another normative claim to do it. But the normative claim I'm talking about... I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. Let's say it does require a normative claim. If that normative claim is not property, then why does it matter to the discussion?
Well, it feels because like the NAP is like this, the way it's employed, at least the way I view it anyway, is that it's this, it's almost on par with like, I don't know, like the categorical imperative or something like this, where it's going to be justifying unto itself when that isn't the case.
I think property right. I think the NAP is just the means in which property rights are derived from. So it would just be the axiom of law, which would posit that conflicts ought to be avoided, and from that axiom, then the initiation of conflict ought to be criminal, and that the negation of that would imply that the non-initiator would have the property right.
Yeah, so like the strong version of this argument wants to say something like, "Hey, the NAP justifies property or whatever, because it presupposes a theory of property, it can't possibly do that," or something like that. But I'm making a much weaker argument. I'm not making that argument.
Yeah, but I don't think it presupposes a theory of property.
I agree. That's why I was giving you the strong argument, right? Like the one that's like, hey, the NAP is like almost self-contradictory. That's not what I'm saying. I'm giving the weaker argument. The weaker argument is something like this. The NAP, unto itself, cannot be a motivating factor. That's all I'm saying. It has to have several other normative frameworks.
Let's say I agree. Let's say I agree that it requires if prax is a normative framework, then like existence exists would be a normative framework. I don't disagree that the NAP requires multiple normative frameworks. Then.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. And so, if that's the case, it seems like you don't.
But it doesn't seem relevant to the purpose of the discussion.
Well, it seems like it is to me because it's like I think it's the case anyway that when people employ praxeology, they want to say something like the NAP is almost like self-justifying, right? And if it's not the case that it's self-justifying, then it seems like it's
Not
weaker.
necessarily. I mean, like,
how would the NAP be self-justifying?
Like argumentation ethics. Well, because it's like derived. It's derived from. Again, it's derived from like a man acts, right?
No, let's talk ontology. Let's talk epistemology. Like, how would it be self-justifying? Like, what in itself makes it justified? I don't see that.
Did anyone?
Well, I guess
the NAP is really looking at like what is someone else doing to you and what's allowed.
But he's not positing that he thinks that. He's just saying it's used that way by people who believe this, which could be true independent of it being correct.
Can we please go back?
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Where were we?
I think right before it was something like I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's say the NAP did require multiple normative frameworks, right? Which would just be like prax and ASA, like multiple. Like if all these things are normative frameworks, then like what is the point you're trying to convey here?
I guess for me it seems to be the case that like other normative frameworks, I don't know, like deontology or whatever. It doesn't really fucking matter. Other normative frameworks are going to be much more competitive because it seems to me anyway that like when somebody employs the NAP, they are saying something like, hey, it's not even like an arguable position. It's just if you understand that man acts and what derives from that, you'll just understand that it's wrong to, violate the NAP. Well, that doesn't seem clear to me at all because it seems like there are other competing frameworks that.
What are the other competing frameworks? If the normative claims are if man acts as a normative claim, then like how is that competing with the NAP itself?
Well, the normative claims are predicated on their context, and so the reason that it wouldn't be convincing would be because the context isn't convincing.
But I'm not trying to derive the NAP yet, right? We're just trying to. We're not going anywhere near that yet. We haven't even begun to derive the NAP.
Yeah, we're not talking about.
He's just saying that like the context isn't necessarily proven.
Yeah, but like when it comes to, I don't see what are these like competing. If the normative claims here are things like prax, right? Then what is the point we're trying to convey?
Well, you can have a normative claim out of socialism that competes with the normative claim.
Yeah, but why are you? Can we please? Can we get back to the discussion?
Yeah, sorry, my bad, dude.
No, the normative claim matters on the normative claim. What normative claim are you making?
I'm not making any normative claim yet.
We're just talking.
And what are you arguing about?
Can you just?
Yeah, CW, just allow them to finish their conversation, please.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Or no?
Do you think the NAP is self-evident?
Yeah.
No.
It would depend, like my means of justification.
Self-evident how?
I don't know how to currently answer this question. Can we I want to get back to the discussion.
What does self-evident mean? It means that it's evident of itself.
You're self-justifying. Is there a distinction there? Self-justifying.
CW, are you an ANCAP or?
You just ran in.
I'm not an ANCAP. I'm a libertarian, and so I just have questions.
Okay, how about this? Can we put a bow on this conversation? Can we put a bow on this conversation? Because it is fair. Like we've been taking up a lot of space. Okay, I'll say my little thing, which I think you might find amenable, and then you say whatever you want. Okay. Sure. So I think I agree that the strong version of my argument does not go through. I think that. Okay. I do think that the weaker version that I'm trying to employ, at least serves to ensure that other normative frameworks are under consideration, which I don't think, and I'm not saying that you're doing this necessarily, just that other anarcho-capitalists are, that I don't think other anarcho-capitalists are like sympathetic to. I think that's it. Right. And if you want to say your point, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, the other normative claims here, I mean, the whole point that you were trying to make is that again, like, I'm still slightly confused here by what you were actually trying to say. Yeah, sure, it's not sympathetic to other normative claims, right? But, like, what is the actual what's the contradiction here, or some issue here? Because, like, the problem, like, the normative claim thing you tried to stipulate with, like, prax being normative, I don't see how that could be, like, because prax is not a contradicting the NAP, that's not, like, a separate normative theory. We're just describing, like, if we're going under the conditions, like things like prax or formal logic would be normative.
Hey, I would love to add you, and we could like
yeah, we can do that.
But you are Bell Delphine defender.
You're on my live stream too.
You can add me on my main if you want.
Oh, what's your main?
Ankabdago.
Okay, I'll send a friend request and we can talk later.
Message it to him, yeah.
Here we go. I send you. We can discuss this.
All right,
okay, so it's like all this talk about normative claims really isn't getting to the pragmatic heart of what.
Are you drunk, CW?
We can debate anarcho-capitalism.
Are you high, CW?
Nope.
You woke up like this.
I didn't just wake up like this. It's late. I've had a day, but
it's not very nice to say to this guy.
Can you hear it? I'm sorry.
drunk.
My bad. My apologies.
Maybe he just had a rough day, man.
I don't know. What do you want to say that I should?
I don't know. I guess he's implying that you sound drunk or high. I guess, but I don't really hear it, honestly, personally.
Okay. Should I not say I am?
No, bro. Just say whatever you want, bro. Just don't worry about him.
Well, I don't understand what the point is.
Don't worry about him, bro.
Okay. So let's talk about the pragmatic effects of anarcho-capitalism or libertarianism or capitalism generally.
We can do that.
Let's talk about the pragmatic effects.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I care about, right? And so when you guys are talking about normative claims, you're talking about epistemological grounding, you're talking about ontological grounding. None of that matters to how people feel on the ground when they have these opinions, when they actually care about things, right?
Wait, how do we go from Man Act to the NAP?
Like, I can... my how I derive the NAP is, like, currently fucking... because I switch it around every 2 weeks. I feel is useful.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, well, that makes sense.
You're like,
my
volume is kind of oscillating, like a sine wave. I don't know if you're noticing, but, like, would you mind outlining that or no?
Can you repeat that?
You're shifting.
Sure, would you mind outlining how you go
doing
from Man Act to NAP?
Yeah, I mean, like, Man Act to NAP, I mean, like, it's not... I don't think that's how we go, necessarily. I think this is, like, an odd way to frame it. It would be in the, I guess...
That'd be a normative way, right?
If we're going to drive the NAP, like, I generally go through the, how the possession and ownership distinction is a necessary precondition of disputing anything. So it wouldn't be argumentation ethics, but it's a specific one, a specific argument developed by KingSithis, which I think is good. But I think it's going to be, if we're going to derive the NAP as like a general thing, that it's going to be a man acts, right? Scarcity exists. Conflicts can arise over the use of these scarce means, right? So when we have a conflict, right? So all we're just what a property right is, what the goal of law is to assign some property right. And we can choose to either assign the property right to the first comer or to the latecomer. And the problem with a legal theory that would put a property right in the latecomer, well, that wouldn't avoid conflict. That would contradict the presumption of the norms of a property at all. Right? So if we just...
Well, I mean, like, the normative claim is like one thing is right and one thing is wrong. But, like, what's the...
all we have to do is we have to ground that the goal of property is to avoid conflicts. And if that is the case...
why should we ground that? I would not consider that even a basis of any of the philosophy of anarcho-capitalism or capitalism.
So the framework is we have to give this like inalienable, eternal forever right in any possible way to any resource. Every resource needs an owner, and we give it to the person who came first.
We
What
don't
else?
need
They
to
can
do
sell
that.
it?
I mean, you can have
How do we
mortgage
get to
them.
sale? Where does the sale come in?
For the goal of avoiding conflicts, the property right must
Well, I
necessarily
thought
be
that was.
assigned to the first comer.
Well,
Yeah, that
you
was
guys
like
are like
really horrible.
shut up, bro. You guys say like the bodies can't be sold, but then why can't other things be sold? Like where does sale come in?
The reason why you can't sell your body, right, is because like you don't own your body in the conventional sense, right?
Well, you can sell your body. So you're
can't-
wrong
you,
about that.
You
You
can't
can.
sell your body.
You can, yeah, you can sell your body. Yes.
Shut up.
Wait, KingSithis,
Wait,
does it
just-
ever strike you
yeah,
that like your
let-
allies are like actually brain damaged or no?
What do you mean?
No, I mean like free will. You can sell your body.
What do you mean?
Like you have these like Fetterman-esque characters who like went through
Who?
a car accident and they
Who?
come out agreeing with you. Does
Who?
that strike you?
Who? CW?
No, certainly not.
There's nothing wrong. I don't have any problem with Belle Delphine. He's a smart guy, man. You can learn a lot from him.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
either.
know.
I'm listening to him as well. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, then chill out. And Bell, what were you
Yeah,
saying?
let him finish what he was saying, man.
Sorry, what was I talking about?
I don't even remember.
You said conflict.
We were talking about
bad.
selling your body, and I said,
Okay,
that's-
right,
you
selling your
can't,
body.
you
You
can do
can't-
that. You're saying you
No.
can't do that.
Yeah, you can't sell your body because like you can only sell what you can abandon. You can't abandon your body. Because you didn't homestead your body, right? You
Like
can't.
a platitude, but like, how do you know that that's true? Because I disagree with that.
A contract is what happens in a contract is that one party abandons a title and another homesteads it. You cannot abandon title to your body because there's an inalienable link between your action and your body.
So you don't think people can sell sex?
Well, if you
No,
having
you can
sex
sell a
is not.
service, but you
Yeah.
can't. You're not actually transferring a title to your body.
Wait, see, to me,
selling
you're
a
not-
service.
You're not
Yeah.
transferring a title, but if you can sell sex,
It's
you're
not a
transferring something. Then
Wait, see, do I see you have the IQ tag?
No, what
Do you
you're
ever
when
get-
you're having sex, all you're doing is performing a service. What you're doing is you're letting somebody, or well, you're giving them
Yeah,
sex.
you're letting someone use your property.
can you not sell a service?
No, I actually don't think you can sell a service.
No, you
Like,
don't sell a service. You
Wait,
perform a
what?
service. You get
Eh,
paid
what's
to
actually-
perform
what
a
I-
service.
We can get into title transfer theory, right? So, what a contract specifically is a specific. It's a conditional transfer of property titles. So what's
Okay.
actually going on? Like, if I say that if I buy from a prostitute, right? I am transferring title to, let's say, $100 on the condition that she fucks me, right? She's not selling that, but that's just the condition of which I transfer the title to.
Mm-hmm. You're just getting paid to do a service. It's like any other job. You're not selling
No,
anything.
it's
You're
not
just
like
getting
any
paid to
other
do
job.
something.
Sounds way different than any other job.
It's really
Well, it may be different in the sense that you're doing something different, but in the sense it's the same in the sense that you're you're
contract
performing an action or doing something in exchange for money.
Sure, I could sell my labor. Obviously, there's material involved, but I could sell my labor to build someone a deck.
I don't really think
And then my
like
labor
when we're
is on
talking
paper.
about contracts. I
It's
don't
not my
think it's a
body. I'm not
misunderstanding.
giving transfer of sale of my body, even though I am providing labor.
You can't transfer like labor itself is something you do with property. It's not something that creates property or is property. You can't sell labor in this sense.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it's
yeah,
just
I mean,
like I think it's a
it's-
misunderstanding of what a contract actually is. Like,
Yeah, sure.
The whole point of the title transfer theory of contracts, right, is that all a contract is a conditional transfer of titles. So I can go over the prostitute example again. So if I say I transfer $100 to you on the condition that you fuck me, she's not like selling her body. I am just transferring those $100 conditionally on the fact that she fucks me. Right?
Wait, but I'm actually really curious now. I was just thinking, like, of the
So what is
actions
she
you gave,
selling?
I feel like they all apply to Minecraft servers. Would you mind running through the logic within that constraint
not
if
do
it
the
also
Minecraft
applies
server
to like
thing?
Minecraft
we
server
can-
dynamics?
We can
No,
run.
let's not do that. Let's
Because
just
then
ask.
I'm just
what
really
if
wondering
All
now,
right,
like,
one at
why
one
all
at
the-
guys.
We could
One at a
run this
time.
through a Minecraft server.
Because in my view, like all the Minecraft servers probably should be ANCAP if the logic's solid. Because it seems like all the conditions are met. Because like my understanding
Well,
is
no,
that
because you
Minecraft
could kill
players
people
do
in
act.
Minecraft
I
servers.
guess I should just bow out of the conversation, but this
I
is
know.
not
Probably
what I'm
should.
talking
You
about.
seem
We're talking
mentally
about
You should
handicapped.
Minecraft
probably.
servers.
You should
You're
probably
talking about
bow.
Minecraft servers.
You should probably bow. What are you trying to say with like if the conditions are met, then ANCAP servers would lead to.
Well, I'm just trying to understand the assumptions. The first one is Players Act. I think that's met.
Yeah,
The second
I'm not
one
saying that
is
this is
scarce
what's.
resources.
This is. I'm not saying what will be. I'm not saying.
No. Just I want to understand like what the implications would be.
He's back.
Right. I'm not saying what will happen. This is not like some.
No, I know you're not making a prediction. I just
Yeah,
want
I'm
to
not making a
understand the
prediction.
implications.
I'm just saying how you derive the theory.
Well, I just want to go. Like the first assumption was Players Act. We got that. The second assumption is scarce resources. Diamonds are scarce, right?
Maybe the first assumption shouldn't be prax, right? The first assumption should be.
Well, just for context, there's like a bunch of like YouTube essays on like optimal economic theory for Minecraft servers that are very popular right now. And so no one's made one in the ANCAP yet. So I was wondering like, would any of your principles work there, or is there like some problem?
I don't see why
with the
they
Minecraft?
shouldn't. I mean, like obviously you.
I don't see why how
if you're going
Austrian
to
economics
apply-
wouldn't apply to.
Well, I was
Minecraft.
thinking even like you should make a video like that, like those other videos. You think would like bring people into the cause if it became popular? Because some of these videos are getting like 20 million views.
There's actually already a video about Austrian economics. I can link it on the side.
No, he's saying on Austrian economics and Minecraft.
I know. That's what I'm talking about.
In Austrian economics
okay,
and in Minecraft, you can't.
Wait, it's about Minecraft?
Yeah, here.
You can't
It's in the
sell
text chat.
nothing.
Interesting.
You're not allowed to sell nothing.
Wait, so just to be clear, we got the first two, right? We got diamonds that are scarce, and we got players that can act. What was the next one?
The
next assumption?
The next one is that you're selling something.
Diamonds. No, it's not.
They can come into conflict over the. I think they can, right? Like two
Yeah,
people could be using the same mine, and then one person sees the.
Wait,
block.
actually, it's
Oh my
Minecraft.
God, am I in
I guess it
Minecraft
depends
too?
on the
What am I
rules of the
doing?
server, right?
Like they can't. Okay, this is not about the ownership of the server itself and how property right, like actual property rights apply. I'm saying like
I know.
people like they can't both mine the same diamond at the same time. They can't both have it in their
Right.
inventory at the same time, right? That you can have
Okay.
a conflict over the use of the diamond, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like someone
How
might
does
want.
this- how does this
what's
translate
the next
to real
assumption?
life? Who cares? First of all, how does this
You are.
translate to real life?
I don't know if you were born
Hold
that
on,
way or
guys.
there's
You
an
guys,
accident, but I would
guys.
tell myself, are you?
Hold on.
Listen,
Hold on.
No, but,
it's
like,
not,
literally
guys.
in
Whoa,
the air.
wait! Stop! It is not useful when someone is trying to make a point to scream out, "Who cares?" Okay, listen. If you don't care, then get the fuck out of here. All right, we're
No,
trying to
I
have a
care about
conversation.
the underlying philosophy, but I don't care about Minecraft.
Okay, if you don't, okay, listen. We don't care that you don't care.
If I don't care about Minecraft, then I don't care.
All right,
you.
keep going.
Okay. I think this could be a great video, so let's keep going.
Yeah.
No, I thought the conversation was
Um,
interesting.
So the next one is that the goal of law is to avoid conflicts.
The goal of law is to avoid. I guess that's true invariant to if we're in Minecraft or not. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And given that the goal of law is to avoid conflicts, then the initiation of a conflict would be criminal.
Okay.
And given that is the case, then the non-initiator would have the property right.
Yeah, so you can't just stab people with your Minecraft diamond sword.
Is that where the argument ends, or what's next?
Yeah, I mean, like if we're going to ground, I guess that's like an easy, like simple way to ground it. I don't know, like the whole point is that like we would like go into grounding why conflict avoidance would be the precondition for law. Obviously there's 3 different theories of law we can all go into.
But I guess it's just the broad argument is like insofar as law is concerned with this reduction of conflict, however you cash that
Yeah.
out.
And
Insofar as that's the case, then
Yeah. First
as a
ethics
conclusion, we would make criminal certain property crimes or whatever.
that the initiation of conflict would be criminal.
Gotcha. And so if there were like a Minecraft legal system that aims to reduce quote unquote conflict, then it must include some system for owning the diamonds.
Yeah.
In which it's first come, first served.
Yeah.
Homesteading, yeah. And also no stabbing.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, just like mechanically, I guess like Minecraft is just different from real life in that, like it just wouldn't look the same. I guess like enforcement mechanisms wouldn't necessarily be like threatening to kill a player, because what is threatening to kill a player? It's just sending them back to their bed, right? That doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but what if they don't want to be sent to their bed?
Sure, I guess, but
like, I mean, like if we're actually going to like enforcement mechanisms, that would be like forcing them to pay something, right? Like
You gotta pay me some diamonds.
Like if you break my base or something like that, you're gonna have to give me a tax of diamond blocks. It doesn't matter.
How is that distinguishable from just like paying to do something?
I think we could trap players in like a.
If you, it's the same way in real life. Like if you damage my property, like you have to pay for it.
I mean, you could you could have the non-aggression principle, work in Minecraft. I mean, you could just have people just say, "Hey, I'm not going to stab you," or "I'm not going to take your property." Like you could have that.
I guess what I'm saying is like we can try to figure out how the NAP could be applicable to Minecraft, or like Austrian economics can be applicable to Minecraft. But regardless of how we do that, just in virtue of the fact that it's a game, it's just gonna be different.
Yeah, obviously there's going to be differences, right? But I mean, like the fundamental facts that scarcity exists and thus they can come into conflict over the use of it, that is really only the necessary.
Mm-hmm. You can't be burning down people's houses in Minecraft using lava pots.
But obviously there's going to be going to be some things that are going to greatly change this in Minecraft.
I have a Minecraft server, and the NAP is the rule.
Like the fundamental preconditions aren't going to change.
I mean, with respect to like fines and such, and I understand this is distinct. Like if a rich person decides to speed, over 80 miles an hour or whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, at that point, they're just paying the fee to be able to do that activity, and that occurs regularly, like in real life. So I guess like the question is like,
I'm heading to bed, guys. Have a good night.
Oh, so you mean like you have an grass, right?
Have a good night, everyone.